ESPNU College Football, presented by Citi, comes to Lewis Cruz Stadium on the campus of Alabama A&M in Huntsville, Alabama, for a key SWAC matchup as the Tigers of Jackson State come in to take on the 21st ranked Bulldogs of Alabama A&M. Let's check out the SWAC standings as we come down to the stretch run of this 2007 college football season. And you see these two teams playing in this game today are tied at 5-1 in the Eastern Division, with the winner, the front runner, to head to the championship game December 15th against probably the Grambling Tigers, who lead the West. Hello, everyone. Charlie Neal along with my partner Jay Walker. And at the beginning of the season, the predictor said these two teams would finish 1-2 in the East. Alabama A&M 1, Jackson State 2. That's why this game is so big today, Jay.
That's why you have to play. And to let you know that the talent knows talent. When we talk about the coaches and the writers, they knew that these two programs had what it took in order to make it to Birmingham for the SWAC championship. When you talk about Jackson State, new coaching staff, Coach Comegys, proven winner, has got a program on the wires. And when you talk about Alabama A&M, you're talking about Anthony Jones, leadership, traditional powerhouse program in the SWAC conference.
And this game comes down to a story of quarterbacks for each team, starting with Jimmy Oliver of Jackson State, who is the start of the day.
And this is an opportunity for Jimmy Oliver to have a breakout game. He's a hometown boy, won a state championship in Mississippi. Now the Tiger fans are expecting him to win a SWAC championship. If he can play well today, look for the Tigers to have a chance at win. But Jimmy Oliver playing well means he has to reduce the costly and the timely interceptions that have plagued his career.
On the other side, when you talk about this Alabama A&M team, you're talking about a veteran quarterback in Kelsey Luke. They live or die with him.
And Kelsey Luke is just a winner. I mean, all he does is win, win, win. One of the winningest quarterbacks in Alabama A&M history. So goes Kelsey Luke, so goes the Alabama A&M Tiger offense. If he plays well, whether it's throwing the football or making great runs with his mobility, look for the Tigers to have a great chance at winning this contest with an opportunity to defend their SWAC championship throne.
And there you look at Rick Comegys' 11-8 record as the head coach of the Jackson State Tigers in his second year here, after spending many years at Tuskegee University, 10 years to be exact. On the other side of the ledger is Alabama A&M's head coach Anthony Jones in his sixth year with an overall record of 48-19. Ninth year overall as a head coach, 66-32. Played his collegiate ball under Willie Jeffries at Wichita State, and his team will get the ball to start this game. And as you look at Kevin Muriel, the senior out of Brandon, Mississippi, he has the ball on the tee. Jackson State wearing the visiting white jerseys. You're looking right there at Frank Moore, one of the deep men, to return this kick, along with Anthony Green for the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M, who are in their dark jerseys at home here. And this one goes along the ground, and it'll come down to Frank Moore right at about the 14-yard line. And Moore up the sideline, and he's across midfield, cuts it back, and is finally upended, but not before he gets all the way down to the 42-yard line. And that's one of the things I'm sure Anthony Jones is very pleased with. They have not done a great job in kickoff returns this year. That one was good for 46.
Yeah, what a way to start off this contest when everything's on the line. If you get great special teams, that means you're winning one of the early aspects of the football game. With great special teams play, now it becomes a matter of can the offense capitalize and get points on the board early in this contest.
His longest return before that one was 34 yards. That good for 46. Ulysses Banks in the backfield, the lone setback behind the quarterback, Kelsey Luke, and it goes to Banks. Cuts it back inside, and a bunch of white jerseys is there to meet him immediately, led by Daniel Brooks, number 2. The offensive alignment for the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. The backs and receivers, Ulysses Banks. The fullback is McCants. The tight end is Charles Moody. As you look at your quarterback there, the other receivers, Harrison Johnson. The line up front consists of Manuel, Meade, Jackson, James Sanders, and Darius Turner. It is second down. They lost about 2 yards on that play. Here's Luke back to pass under a little pressure, rolls out to his right, waving defenders downfield or receivers downfield, has it complete to his tight end Moody. Moody at the 10, the 5,
fumble,
and he fumbles the football, and maybe Jackson State has it. Charles Moody was the tight end, made a great catch, got him the first down, but now it looks like it's going to be maybe Alabama A&M holding on to the football somehow. Boy, I'll tell you, you're talking about a lot of action early. 38 yards on this play.
Yeah, great job by Kelsey Luke to get outside the pocket, direct traffic as a general from outside the pocket, throws a strike to Moody, and Moody with a great effort here, the senior 250-pound tight end, just bouncing off Tiger defenders. That ball comes loose, but he did a great job of actually getting it back. He was fortunate his right arm was free where he could get that fumble recovery.
So a couple of long plays. Moody is the man in motion, first and goal now. Misdirection to Ulysses Banks, bounces it outside. He's at the 5, still on his feet, and they're going to signal him in the end zone, touchdown. Ulysses Banks with the 7-yard run, and he was his 7th rushing touchdown of the year.
And what a great individual effort by Banks. Once he got the seal block on the outside, his momentum was stopped on 2 different occasions. You'll see the seal block coming in from the fullback, McWhorter. He gets outside, and you look like they're going to make a tackle. No, slows down, then at the end zone, does a nice little tap dance to get 2 feet inside the pylon for the score.
Jeremy Lycia in for the point after. He's only missed 2 all season, 31 of 33 in that department. And this one is up, and this one is good, and Alabama A&M takes the opening kickoff, and they drive right down the field, and they score on the touchdown run by Ulysses Banks from 7 yards out, and a 42-yard drive after the great kickoff return to start the game by Frank Moore.
And it seems like this Bulldog team realizes everything that's on the line with the victory here at home. If they can win this football game, they've got a great chance at advancing towards the SWAC championship in Birmingham. That's what you want. You want to get your crowd into it early, come out, put some points on the board, good special teams, the offensive intensity match the special teams intensity. Now you're putting the pressure on the visiting team, the Tigers of Jackson State, to see how they're going to respond.
So it didn't take them long to get on the board. And, you know, one of the things you talk about when you talk to Anthony Jones is goals that he has for his team coming into every ball game. One of the things is he wants to hold the ball, you know, for a good length of time in terms of possession. He wants to score in the red zone. He wants to have less than 20 yards in penalties, give up no sacks, and 400 yards in total offense. Plus, you have to have the more points on the board than the other team. You can do all that. You can do all those things and still not have enough points. As this one goes out of the end zone, it'll be put out to the 20, and Jackson State will get the ball for the first time today. As we look at Jimmy Oliver and the stats on him and what he's been able to do this year, he's thrown 8 touchdowns, but he's also thrown 5 interceptions. He's 57% as far as completions are concerned, averaging 171 yards a game. A transfer from Pearl River Community College, went to East Marion High down in Columbia, Mississippi, and they have the ball first down and 10. They need to get their running game going. That is Jackson State. Eric Hall, H-A-W is the way it's spelled, is the second back in the I formation for the Tigers of Jackson. And Hall has the ball on first down, and he runs into a wall there, led by Avery Mullen and the rest of that defense of the Alabama A&M team. Jeremy Maddox, one of the, as far as Jackson State's offense, the backs and receivers, Eric Hall, along with Edward Lee at the fullback. Lavorius Giles, will see him, and Cody Hull also. The receivers, Chris Johnson and Jamar Johnson, they are real good ones. Terrence Jones has been doing a great job at the tight end spot for them this year. Up front, Lorenzo Breland is the center. Harness and Jones are the guards, and Terrell Williams and Michael Smith are the tackles. It is second down and 10 for the Tigers. Oliver operating out of the shotgun now. And now we get a whistle. Stoppage of play.
Penalty flag on the field.
Penalty flag delayed.
Number 9 on offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Keith Moore is our referee today.
Jackson State is
So a 5-yard penalty. Now it's 2nd and 15, and both teams have been plagued with penalties this year. In fact, Jackson State is the most penalized team in the SWAC, averaging 113 yards in penalties per contest.
Yeah, and if they come out and play that type of football today, they're going to go home with the loss. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Penalties are a direct correlation with opportunities to win, and Jackson State has to improve on that today.
Oliver from the shotgun on 1st and 15, dropped in and out of the hands of Carlos Simpson. just didn't hold on, and they've had a lot of drop passes in the last couple of weeks.
And that was a gimme one. I mean, that was a great throw by Jimmy Oliver. Hit him in stride. He didn't throw too hard a pass. He put a nice little touch on that where he should have come down with that catch and had the ability to gain some run after catch yards. But in that case there, you got to catch the football first.
Carlos Simpson, a junior out of Detroit, Michigan, transfer from University of Cincinnati. You look at Alabama A&M's defense. Traylor, Askew, Garrett, and Cummings, the down linemen. Mullen, Nelson, and Rice are the linebackers in the secondary. Thomas, Al Donaldson, Bobby McClain, and Stephen Tucker. It is third. Make that third down and 15. There's a timeout on the field. Rick Commage's teams have their back against the wall so far. We'll be back here in Huntsville after these messages. You're watching ESPNU College Football presented by Citi. It's an Eastern Division battle in the SWAC as Alabama A&M hosts the Tigers of Jackson State. Due to time constraints, we move ahead. No gain on the last play, 2nd and 10. And again, they go to the right side, and it's Anthony Green on the carry. And Anthony Green brought down that time by Rashid, the senior out of Brandon, Mississippi, number 90.
Well, this is one of those times here where you know when they're trying to attack, when they got the speed guys in there, the Jackson State defense getting firm up front, talking about a linebacker getting close to the football, and as well as a defensive lineman. So they're starting to firm up the interior running game. The only problem with that is once you slow down the running game and concentrate too hard on it, number 9, Kelsey Luke, hits you with a play-action pass and makes a great decision.
And he has some pretty good receivers out there also, Kelsey does, to throw to. And he's going to the air once again on the slant pattern. And looking for a penalty but not getting it is the wide receiver Johnson, Rashad Johnson. Rashad Johnson, our freshman out of Mobile Murphy High, on the quick slant.
And that's just one where it got away from Kelsey. Give credit to the defensive back playing hard man-to-man coverage on the inside. That was Keith Campen. Johnson is a wide receiver. You got to win that battle. You've got to get inside that guy when he's trying to wall you off like that.
36-yard field goal attempt by Jeremy Lycia, 11 of 15, hit 5 of his last 8. Last 2 games, though, he's missed 1 in each game, has 15 career field goals, and this one will be a 36-yarder. It is up, has the distance, and this one is good. So a 10-0 lead now for Alabama A&M. A field goal and a 7-yard touchdown run by Banks. Anthony Jones, you would know his team was up by 10. We'll be back. You're watching ESPNU College Football presented by Citi. It's an Eastern Division battle in the SWAC as Alabama A&M hosts the Tigers of Jackson State. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. 3rd down and about 3. Edward Lee, the up back in the eye. Edward Hall is the second back. And it's off to Hall. Hall fumbles the football. And it may be 4th down. Somehow Alabama A&M could not get a hold of it, and Jackson State was able to hold on. And these are the things that's been killing Coach Commage's and the coaching staff of Jackson State.
Yeah, I mean, what a good hit here. You see Hall decide he wants to cut inside. You know, we say it week in, week out. Anytime a defender manages to get a helmet on the football, bad things happen for the offense as Hall cuts there. Give credit to Alabama A&M. This is a team that leads the SWAC conference in turnover margin.
Plus 15.
Plus 15 is phenomenal. I mean, teams are happy just having a positive.
Yeah.
They're up by 15.
15 turnovers. That's a great thing. So a punting situation now for Jackson State. Brett Bennett will punt it for the 2nd time this afternoon. And Jackson State is covering it and is down right inside the 5-yard line. Alabama A&M gets the ball for the 3rd time. They lead it 10-0. They've scored on their first 2 possessions, and we'll be back here in Huntsville in a moment. You're watching ESPNU College Football presented by Citi. It's an Eastern Division battle in the SWAC as Alabama A&M hosts the Tigers of Jackson State. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. 41-yard field goal for Lycia. His longest this year is 42. This has the distance, and this one is good. So Jeremy Lycia, 2 for 2 in the field goal department today. One from 36 yards out. This one from 41 yards out. And Jeremy Lycia, the number 2 scorer in the SWAC, coming in with 64 points behind in front of the number 3 scorer, Eric Perry from Jackson State. So, you know, it may come down to both teams have pretty good field goal kickers and pretty good kickers in this game. So you never know how it's going to wind up. College basketball on ESPNU begins Monday night as the Skyhawks of Tennessee Martin face the Tigers of Memphis. One of the preseason favorites. 2K Sports College Hoops Classic benefiting Coaches versus Cancer on ESPNU. It comes your way Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. So with 2:31 remaining here in the first quarter, Alabama A&M's band very happy. Their team out in front by a score of 13-0.
Well, with a 13-0 lead early in this contest, you think they're halfway down Route 65 on the way to Birmingham for the SWAC championship, or too early?
No, it's never too early, but it's a good way to start, I'll tell you. Coaches will take it. Believe me.
Number 83.
They're going to call a touchback.
Ooh, that was close.
It was very close, but he was backpedaling, and his momentum carried him into the end zone. That's Jamar Johnson there.
It looked like he didn't want to run that ball out. His mind was made up. I mean, take a look where he catches this ball on the one. Yeah.
His momentum was carrying.
Took him back there. Now an aggressive return guy would have stopped, planted on that 1 foot line, and took off running.
Well, you have to give their kickoff man, that's Rashawn Kyler, good credit for. He's boomed them out of the end zone a couple times, or not allowed any returns today. First down and 10 at their own 20, trailing 13-0. Jackson State trying to get their running game going. Here's Eric Hall, turns the corner, 5, 7, 8, make it 9 yards on the run. They'll give him 8 yards on the run. Eric Hall. And one of the things about Eric Hall, you know, against Southern and Alabama State, he had 135 yards, 159 respectively, and 3 touchdowns, but just 19 attempts the last 2 games. They have to get the ball in his hands.
I mean, he's a playmaker when he do it. And, you know, when you talk about Eric Hall running the ball, he does a good job. But look at the pancake block there by Ben Davis coming over at the guard position, and that's what you want there. But, you know, you talk about their running game. They've got running back by committee, Hall and Giles, and you combine their averages, they both average, you know, they give you a 100-yard average per game. And I think any offensive coordinator just wants a running game that can get you 100 yards per game.
Eric Hall, the young man who transferred here from Ohio State, 5th leading rusher in the SWAC, picks up the first down across the 35 to the 36 yards line. So he had a pretty good hold there, and the offensive line doing a little bit better job of blocking up front. You see Eric Jones and company along with Lorenzo Breland.
Yeah, you know, really impressed with Eric Jones, the way he's been able to get off the football. And so often when teams play Alabama A&M, they want to attack the small defensive line, but they're so quick, hard to get a hand on them. But it looks like Jackson State figuring out how to just go man blocking instead of the zone blocking scheme and having some success in the running game.
We're talking about Eric Jones, number 60, the left guard. He's the only offensive lineman on this Jackson State team. As Oliver is in trouble and cannot get away from the defense there of Alabama A&M, led by Bobby McClain there, the junior out of Atlanta's Grady High.
Yeah, perfect defense. You got the pitch man accounted for. The quarterback is reading his keys, but then all of a sudden he doesn't anticipate that linebacker coming around and getting them. You see him do a good job of trying to read his keys, the defensive line being blocked, and that's how you play team defense. And the one thing about this Bulldog defense, coached by Bronski Towns, the defensive coordinator, is they play great assignment defense, and pretty tough to run an option against a team so disciplined.
Now, you call that a sack or a tackle for loss?
Tackle for loss.
Okay, a little different with tackle for loss. But they complete the pass and they get the first down on the next play. So that's what Oliver can do to you. You get him and lose, you sack him or tackle him for loss for 10 yards, and he comes back on the next play and completes a 20-yard first down play.
Yeah, steps up in the pocket, and the wide receiver settles down in the sweet spot, and that's a good job.
Terrence Jones.
Of slowing down there, the tight end, the wide tight end, the third wide receiver finding the sweet spot of defense, and they're attacking it again. going to that sweet spot in between the cornerback and the safety on the cover 2 look. That's what you're doing. When you see a quarterback shuffling hands like that, when you see Oliver saying, hey, clock it, I want to run it again, he likes the defensive look that he's getting. He doesn't want to give a defensive chance to change their coverage so he can keep attacking that cover 2 type soft zone coverage.
And he gets another first down with the completion to Terrence Jones, who's caught 6 passes for 112 yards the last 2 games, came in with 13 receptions for the year out of Hines Community College. And the play clock is down, and now Jackson State will call a timeout because they were in danger of getting a penalty. Or did they get the penalty? Let's see.
I don't think it's a penalty. I think it malfunctioned here. I don't think they reset it. Clock malfunction issue.
Okay, because I saw 0 down there, and then I saw Oliver running to the sideline. And we're going to get some kind of an explanation from Keith Moore, our referee.
No foul on the play.
He kept it simple. No foul on the play. Is your explanation,
Here it is. Yeah, they didn't huddle up.
I'm Ronald Mason Jr., president of Jack.
I've been a lot of places, Jay, and both of us have seen a lot of things. But here's a guy, I don't say he's from Jackson State, but he has a Jackson State sweatshirt on, and he's selling Alabama A&M pom-poms.
You know, he's got on blue. He's got the Jackson State cap on. He's got burgundy pom-poms. You know what he's saying, Charlie?
Green.
I'm selling green.
Money is green. I don't care.
And he's on the Alabama A&M side of the game.
That's
you
right.
know, he's in their sideline. Now, I guarantee at halftime.
He probably came all the way from Jackson with those pom-poms.
See if he makes a halftime adjustment, goes to the JSU sideline to sell some JSU pom-poms.
As we start the second quarter here, Eric Hall off the left side.
Number 3,
And Eric Hall down to about the 21-yard line, along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal here in Huntsville, Alabama. The 21st ranked Alabama A&M Bulldogs in the football championship subdivision, ranked 21st this week.
Second down.
I believe maybe the first time we've ever seen them ranked.
You know, they've been nipping.
Yeah, they've been
25, and they were 1 vote off, and now they're in the top 25. And I'll tell you what, they're playing like a top 25 team here today.
And this one goes incomplete. For some reason or other, looking for a penalty, but there was no penalty mark or drop. There was no reason to. I think it was a misread between the receiver and Oliver, because he threw it right between 2 receivers and 2 defenders. This will bring up a 3rd down situation now for Jackson State. The Tigers so far today in 3rd down conversions, they are 0 for 2. Not converted any 3rd downs this afternoon. Eric Hall, the lone setback in the backfield. Oliver working from the shotgun. Steps up, lets it go.
Look out.
Incomplete. Incomplete.
Penalty flag was thrown early on that play. Might have been illegal motion. Let's take a look here at Oliver stepping up, trying to buy some time in the pocket and looking, and throws the ball. And there were 2 Bulldog defenders that had a chance of coming up with that play there. So obviously the poor decision made by the quarterback.
Well, let's check out the penalty. It's going to go against Alabama A&M, whatever it is.
Offside. Number 58 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Chris Traylor, the preseason all-conference senior from West Point, Georgia. Defensive end out of Troop High. Was the man guilty of being offsides, and that'll bring up a 3rd down, so it gives them another opportunity to pick up the first down.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Keep the drive alive, and instead of having to settle for a field goal opportunity, now Jackson State's thinking we got to really come up with some touchdowns.
And if they can convert the first down or the 3rd down to first downs, keep the drive alive. They don't have to get into the end zone. They just need to get the first down. And here's the why didn't he keep on running?
My question exactly.
Jimmy Oliver, he had a little field in front of him, some green grass, and decided to try to flip it, and flipping it, he just overthrew the receiver. So that'll bring up the 4th down situation.
Alabama A&M brought the whole blitz. Everybody coming, attacking all the gaps. He found the crease. Had he just run to the outside, he would have picked up the first down easily, and possibly more once he got to the edge. And you take a look at him there thinking, man, I should have ran that ball there.
So now we bring on Eric Perry, whose longest field goal this year was a 50-yarder against Tennessee State. This will be a 34-yard field goal attempt. And a whistle blows. We're going to get delay of game, so it's going to be a little further back.
Delay of game. Number 39 on offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
How do you call that on the kicker?
Well, because it's like they call it on the quarterback.
I mean, the kicker, he's just sitting there waiting for the ball. If anything, you should call it on the center because he didn't snap the ball. But fortunately for Coach Comagese and staff, that they've got a great kicker in Perry, so the 5 yards is really not going to make a difference, or it should not make a difference.
Should not make a difference.
He's got plenty of leg.
Eric Perry had hit 11 straight before the Alabama State game. He was 1 of 2 against them. He missed a 29-yarder, but he's hit 12 of his last 13. This one has the distance. And finally, Jackson State is on the board with 14-13 to go here in the second quarter. So, like I said, it could come down to the field goal kicking on both of these squads today. They both have good ones. Eric Perry right here.
Yeah, I mean, he's got great follow through. When you talk about the distance, he could have made that from another 20 yards out right down the middle. So what a positive when you have such a kicker that can become an offensive weapon. Then the job just goes back to the quarterback and learning how to manage the field position on the field.
And don't forget to log on to your online source for all things college sports, ESPNU.com. It's an online service that's the gateway to all college sports content from ESPN that combines the latest news with an expanded collection of exclusive material, scores, columns, video and audio highlights, podcasts, live streaming games, and much more. Log on to ESPNU.com today because we are college sports. Along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal here in Huntsville, Alabama. We're in the second quarter. Jackson State finally getting on the board, 13-3, and the Alabama A&M marching band. They've been
look at that, work it out.
Yeah, they've been grooving in the, what do you call it, walking out, walking out?
Walk it out, walk it out. That was a couple years ago. Now
what's it called now?
It's the Soldier Boy now.
Oh, thank
everybody crank that Soldier.
I saw somebody in
Superman.
the NFL do the Superman after they scored. A kid from New England, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's hot. And I will tell you, they've played that song so much, I will be glad when it is not played anymore.
You're tired of it, huh?
Oh, man.
This one goes into the end zone. It will not be run out by Frank Moore. To be brought out to the 20. And Alabama A&M leading 13-3 will get the ball. First down and 10 at their own 20.
So important that Jackson State put points on the board because at times it felt like they were down 17-0, but because their defense made a couple stands and had the Bulldogs settle for field goals, I mean, they're still in this football game.
No question.
You know, they're very much in. So, and if the defense can start to make Alabama A&M drive the length of the field instead of giving them short field position.
And Mr. Moody has had a record day today. 4 catches, 11 yards, or 85 yards, I should say. 4 catches for 85 yards. Hasn't gotten into the end zone today, but he's helped Alabama A&M move the ball.
And every time he touches it, I mean, look at the attitude when he catches the ball. He just goes directly downfield and tries to make things happen. So they've been calling his number, and he's come through.
Now a little end around on a reverse, and this one didn't fool anybody. Stockdale acted like he wanted to throw it, and knowing he wasn't going to throw it.
He looks like a quarterback, doesn't he? But look at him. He's a thick wide receiver now. You talking about 6'2", 225? That look like quarterback to you?
You don't know Gerald.
I don't know, but I know when you see him in that helmet and pads and he's wearing number 13. I mean, he looks like a quarterback.
Actually, he's thrown a couple passes this year for Alabama A&M. He's 2 for 2, 97 yards and a touchdown. In fact, he had a 55-yarder to Harris against Southern University. So he's capable of doing it. He just didn't get it off that time. Here's a pass down the sideline. It goes off the hands of Thomas Harris, sophomore. Against Jackson State last year, he picked up 2 catches for 14 yards and a touchdown.
One thing I learned as a quarterback was, you know, don't settle for throwing fade routes. It looked like that instance there, Kelsey Luke settled for throwing the fade route. You know, if a defender's playing man-to-man bump and run coverage and you throw the fade route, then that's what he wants you to do because it's not a high percentage pass. You know, as you get better, you start to go for more crossing routes when you get that bump and run coverage. See, the top of your screen there, they're playing man-to-man. You don't want to settle for the fade route. You want to be aggressive and hit a crossing route if you can.
Here's Luke rolling to the left, has some running room. He's going to take off, and he runs out of bounds in front of his own bench and has the first down, and they move the chains up to the 35-yard line. You know, last year against Jackson State, Kelsey Luke ran for 94 yards, a pair of touchdowns. 60, you know, I mean, he's had some pretty good success against this Jackson State team.
What a great job by the fullback there, Janarion McWhorter. I mean, anytime you see a quarterback break and contain outside the pocket, that means he got a great lead block by the fullback, and McWhorter sealed that edge, allowing Luke the necessary space to gain first down yardage.
Out to the 35 where it is first down and 10. Jackson showing blitz. And nothing doing in the running game this time for Alabama A&M. They've had to step up their passing game a little more so this year, as Corey Clark made the stop defensively. There he is, number 97. That is Alabama A&M, because Anthony Jones had been one of those grounded out type guys, and this year they've stepped it up, more combo routes. Of course, Roger Totten has come over as the wide receiver coach for Alabama A&M. So the offense, for the first time, Anthony Jones will tell you, has been the strength of this team. So it's the first time since he's been here.
Yeah, you know, an offensive coordinator, Cedric Pearl, really takes pride in the route combination. For years, they said, you know, we had to play with what we had. But now that Kelsey's really come along as a passer, he's got a great football IQ. We're not afraid to put the ball in Kelsey's hands and trust him to make plays, just like he's trying to do right now.
And he had the play, had a receiver there, but the receiver couldn't hold on as he was covered pretty closely there by Brooks, and that was Moody, the tight end, who's has 4 catches before that play.
And one thing that Alabama A&M is going to have to do is, as this game goes further and Jackson State hangs around, I mean, Jackson State's a physical football team, and everybody knows SWAC football and knows Alabama A&M. They're quick, they're efficient, but they're not big. You're never going to hear people talk about how big the Bulldogs are, and it looks like down in the trenches. Talk about Corey Clark, 97. We talked about him before. The defensive tackles for Jackson State go 320 pounds apiece. They're starting to wear down that offensive line for the Bulldogs.
2 of 4 third down conversions for A&M. 3rd and 11 facing him right now. Let's see if Luke can get him out of that. And this one is going to be called incomplete. So it'll bring up a first punting situation of the day for Alabama A&M.
Great pressure by the defensive line to force Luke to move around in the pocket. Anytime you get pressure with just 4 down linemen, that means you're starting to win the battle in the trenches, and Alabama A&M has to be careful to not give up that control and firm up and protect Kelsey Luke.
Kyler is the punter for Alabama A&M, averaging about 39 yards per punt, ranked 5th in the conference in punting. He's a junior, or sophomore actually, out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Low snap. Has to run left. And he got it off the left side of his foot, and it's going to go out of bounds for Jackson State. Takes a great bounce there. That's about a 17, 18-yard punt. That's about it. 17-yard punt for a young man who came in averaging 39 yards a punt. He had to move to keep it from getting blocked. Still got 17 out of it.
Maybe your car is trying to tell you something. Maybe it's asking for the hard-working gasoline at Phillips 66. Gas specially formulated to help clean fuel injectors in 5 tanks, which helps you maximize mileage and reduce emissions. Give your car what it's asking for. Give it Phillips 66. Hard-working gas.
I've always wanted to have a pool. To me, that was my dream.
If you've ever dreamed of the perfect swim, for exercise, fun with your family, or relaxation at the end of the day, order a free DVD or video to learn more about the endless pool. Your personal pool at home.
Nice and small, compact.
A regular pool, first of all, you have turns that you have to concentrate on. Here, it's endless. You're swimming in place, which is a great opportunity to be able to work on your stroke technique.
It's in your basement. Run downstairs, turn it on, you're there. It's like having a treadmill in your basement.
You know, I'll come downstairs and there'll be sometimes 7 or 8 kids in the pool, and they're always grabbing onto the bar, cranking it all the way up.
Indoors or outside.
Call 800-319-9796 or visit our website for a free DVD.
Thanks, ESPN the magazine, for writing that great cover story about me. I know you said big men aren't as marketable, but check this out. You need sophisticated? I got sophisticated. Maybe a little more dynamic? I'm a chameleon. You still think a big man can't sell? Boom.
You're watching ESPNU College Football presented by Citi. It's an Eastern Division battle in the SWAC as Alabama A&M hosts the Tigers of Jackson State. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage after these messages.
Everybody loves a beautiful garden, but not the blisters, bending, and backaches that come with it. Hi, Billy Mays here with the awesome auger, the world's most efficient and powerful yard tool you'll ever use. Just attach it to any size drill. Pull the trigger, plant, and grow. It's great for preparing soil for all kinds of planting. Use it to plant trees, shrubs, and bushes. It works like magic for tilling and cultivating the garden. And it's perfect for aerating compost piles. It takes all the work out of digging post holes, removing dead trees, bushes.
People like the crowd to box on them, and that's why they've had problems with the running game the last couple of ball games. This time it's Cody Hull. Hull trying to bounce it to the outside, being chased by Mullen. Turns the corner, and he's at the 1. Goes out of bounds. Oh, touchdown. No. It was a discussion between the field judge and the line judge, and the field judge says he got in. But do we have a penalty flag down? We do. And that's going to be holding. That was thrown by the umpire, so forget all the whether he got in or not. The key is it's not going to count either way.
21, holding, 82 on offense, 10-yard penalty, keep it down.
That's Cedric Dixon, freshman out of Atlanta, that they called it on, number 82. Let's see if we can see it.
Ball's going to the right there.
There
He got
is.
some of that jersey.
Yeah.
He didn't let go. And, you know, it's unfortunate because Hull was already outside.
I was going to say, it didn't even have any bearing on the play, or it wouldn't have. But then you don't know. If I wasn't held, maybe I could have got down to it. You don't know how fast I am. Second down and goal. 10 minutes to go. Oliver throwing to the end zone. Incomplete. Far side. Jamar Johnson, the intended receiver, over there. Long fade route into the corner of the end zone, and it'll bring up 3rd and goal.
You know, you had the matchup that you wanted. You had a corner hitch combination against the cover 2, but what the quarterback didn't do, Oliver did not pull the wide receiver away. He went for the deep pylon where he had room to pull the wide receiver back to the football. Could have been an easy touchdown completion, but Oliver had a bad aiming point on his throw.
6'1", 180-pound senior, Columbia, Mississippi. Has thrown 8 touchdown passes this year. Now timeout's been called by Jackson State. We're going to step aside while Coach Oliver talks things over with his team. He's upset about something. We'll be back. His name is actually Coach Comegys, even though Jimmy Oliver is his quarterback. But Oliver is the coach on the field.
Yes, and Coach Comegys is still hot about that holding call, but it took place so far away from him. He just thinks, why do you call holding on me in the red zone when I'm on the road? You start to question every call.
So it's a 3rd and goal. The ball is at the 12. Oliver with an empty backfield. Going to the air. Standing in there. Spins out. Has some time. In trouble.
See,
he went the wrong way, and he was brought down by Jeremy Maddox.
You know, you can move side to side, but you can't move backwards. I know you got a great kicker, but wow, by you getting sacked that deep, you're really putting strain on your kicker's leg. I mean, move side to side, step up, stop moving backwards. Right now you got to think, if it's even close, I got to get rid of the football. I got to throw it away or do something. But he kept moving back further and further, and he's really testing the leg of his young kicker.
Yeah, they were at the 12. They lost 18 yards on that play. This will be a 46-yard field goal attempt for Jackson State and for Eric Perry. His longest is 50. He did that against Tennessee State early in the season. Let's see if he can convert here. Flag is down. The kick is up. Has the distance, and it's good. Let's see what the penalty marker's about. They'll probably decline it even if it's against Alabama A&M, because it's only a 5-yard, makes it 5-yard closer.
Yeah, but wow, we talk about nerves of steel. Perry came there and just drilled that field goal.
Keith Moore. All right, Keith, tell us what's going on here. Yeah.
Offside, number 19 on the defense. The penalty is claimed. Field goal.
So there it is. Eric Perry, young man out of Miami, Florida, only 5'8", big leg though, only 155 pounds, a sophomore, and that is his 16th field goal of the season. He's only missed one in the one in the last couple of weeks. He's 14 of 17 coming into the game, 2 of 2 today. And college basketball on ESPNU begins Monday night as the Skyhawks of Tennessee Martin face the third-ranked team in the preseason poll, the Tigers of Memphis. It's the 2K Sports College Hoops Classic benefiting Coaches versus Cancer. Comes your way right here on ESPNU Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Basketball season is upon us. Jay?
Man, you know, I like that name. That seems like a great name for a basketball team, the Skyhawks. I mean, you know, I wouldn't like it if I was a football team.
All right, Skywalker.
But I mean, Skyhawks just seems like a hoop squad. I mean, they seem like they can ball. And, you know, you talk about Calipari in Memphis. We know that they can play some ball down there in Beale Street.
13-6 our score. Nothing doing this time for Alabama A&M on the return. Did the ball come out? No, Frank Moore was the man that brought it back for him. You talk about Jeremy Maddox, who came up with that big stop on the quarterback. Jimmy Oliver that forced that long field goal. He was a starter at the beginning of the season, but drew a couple of big penalties in the third quarter. I believe it was against Tennessee State, a roughing the passer and a personal foul penalty, shoving an offensive lineman, and that allowed Tennessee State to get back in the game. Fortunately, A&M went on to win the game, but he was replaced in the lineup by Dominic Wilkins. Well, Wilkins started until 2 weeks ago when he missed practice and was late for a workout, and so Maddox managed to get back in the lineup, and he's showing why he belongs in there. Just look at Kelsey Luke just throwing this one away.
Well, you know, you got to be careful. You can tell, you know, at certain points in the game, you can tell what the coaches are telling their quarterbacks or telling the D-line, get hits on the quarterback. And this looks like a late hit to me. You see Idris Abdur-Rasheed get outside the pocket, ball's gone, and he still pulls him down. So that tells me right away the defensive coordinator, Darren Hayes, has told Jackson State, we got to get as many hits on Luke as we can to get the backup in the game. But, you know, they're getting very, very, very close to that being a late hit. And I actually thought that should have been called. Why does everybody want to hit the quarterback, Charlie?
Because they don't like you guys. At practice, what happens? You put on them little dresses and run around and tell people you can't get hit. Here's Luke in trouble again and has to throw it away. You know, they tell you, you can't hit the quarterback in practice. Put on them little yellow jerseys and stuff like that.
I mean, we got to throw the football. I mean, you know, that's an art.
Are you leaving?
That's an art. You know, playing quarterback is something that, you know, you can't teach it. You know, think about how hard it is, and that's why you get a guy that's kind of small like Kelsey Luke, and, you know, he doesn't have to be strong with everybody else, but he's got to have those little intangibles.
They don't get hit in practice, so you may as well hit them in the game.
No, why hit a quarterback? We're throwing the ball. Nobody else is asked to throw a football.
3rd down and 10 now. 8:39 to go, first half. 13-6 our score. Here's a little screen pass to Ulysses Banks, and it goes for about a yard, and that's it. It'll bring up a 4th down, and Corey Clark was there defensively out of Collins High, number 97, to make the stop, the transfer from Mississippi State. There he is at 320 pounds, and he's about 10 yards shy of a biscuit there.
Yeah, he's a big guy, but look at the activity. You know, the ball goes behind him, and he still tracks it down from the backside. I'm telling you, slowly but surely, down in the trenches, Jackson State starting to take over, show their muscle, show that they're the bigger team, and more importantly, they're starting to play like they're the bigger team.
Weiler back to punt it away. 2nd straight time that he's had to punt. Oh, the ball is blocked. Picked up, Jackson State. They're going to get it right at about the 4-yard line to 5. Weiler has this one blocked. That is the 3rd time this year they've had a punt blocked and a penalty marker goes down.
Wow, you know, had Rasheed been able to pick that ball up cleanly, we would have a tie contest right now. He had clear running, but he couldn't field it cleanly. Here's the flag.
And it's against Alabama A&M. Personal foul. Let's see if we can see. That must have happened after the play was over. Anthony Jones not happy.
The play was over. Dead ball. Personal foul. Number 27, after this to the goal, first down.
That's frustration on the part of Kyler, the punter, who committed the personal foul penalty. So they have the punt blocked. And now first and goal at the 5 for Jackson State at the Alabama A&M 5.
And we take a look at the block, and you see him just getting physical on special teams. They got a left-footed kicker. Ooh, it's a good thing he got that block, because otherwise he definitely would have been called for an unnecessary roughness penalty there. And Jackson State now trying to muscle the ball into the goal line.
And on the carry that time was Cody Hull. Hull gets it down to about the 2-yard line. Let's look at the penalty after Kyler gets up. Oh, that was it. That's what they call for the dead ball foul. And the player from Jackson State saying, "What did I do?" Edward Lee, he says, "He just pushed me for no reason at all."
And that's something you rarely see from an Anthony Jones football player. I mean, he doesn't play that type stuff, so you know Coach Jones is going to give him an earful on the sideline and definitely in the film session.
Cody Hull, the lone setback there. Here it is. And
get rid of it. Uh-oh.
He's sacked again. And coming up with the sack is Antonio Nelson, the weak side linebacker. That's his second sack of the year.
Yeah, he comes uncovered. You have to see that guy. If you're going to run a naked bootleg, what you have to do is take a quick peek before you snap the ball to see who's going to be the most dangerous man that can get to me when I have my back turned to the defense. And in that case there, it was number 23, Antonio Nelson, in man on the line of scrimmage, coming unblocked with a quarterback with his back turned. I know that's a lot of football terminology, but the key is easy tackle.
How frustrating is it right now for James Woody and Rick Comegys? They get down here second straight time they've been inside the 10-yard line, and now they're losing yards. They lost 18 the last time they were down there to make it a 46-yard field goal, and they just got driven back again. This drive started at the 5-yard line. They're right now at the 11. Third down and goal. Oliver, backside pressure, has some running room in front of him. Now he's going to take off and run. Runs over one man, but still will not get into the end zone. He's going to be stopped shy of the goal line.
Wow, what an individual effort here.
It was.
You know, and I like the toughness here. I mean, after the initial contact is made, he still leans forward for this. Pump fake, lower the shoulders, keep your balance, and almost stretch.
Antonio Nelson was the man who kept him out of the end zone. They're going to go for it on fourth down.
I like that. He trucked the DB. See, Charlie, I keep telling you about quarterbacks. Frank Moore, get a ticket. Go for
Antonio
a ride.
Nelson comes in at 195. Jimmy Oliver at 180. And here it is. Fourth down and goal at the 2-yard line. They're going to go for it, full house backfield. Eric Hall, the third back there. Eric Hall goes up, will not get there. Eric Hall didn't get there. A defensive stand by Alabama A&M. Eric Hall got the call. Wow. And Eric Hall couldn't get there. I didn't think that was good aggressive run.
Well, you know, he wanted to leap, and he was getting his feet prepared to dive over the top, but Alabama A&M did a good job of tackling low to take his legs from underneath him so he could not go airborne.
And that goes back to my question again. How frustrating is it to get down here and come away with nothing?
Yeah, I mean, very frustrating. You see, he's preparing to jump, and he couldn't dive. I mean, they did a good job of attacking, and what toughness. You see Hall just get beaten, nowhere to go.
I mean, it looked like he could have slid to the outside and maybe gotten in a little, then going up into that pack.
Yeah, play with design to go a certain direction. And look at that.
Maybe a safety. They didn't call it a safety.
I mean, how can you not? Wow, they came out. That's got to be a safety.
Yes, it is a safety.
They tried to run the ball quickly because they realized it's tough for them to get physical with a much more physical team in Jackson State. And Alabama A&M just gave up 2 points.
They certainly did. Let's see exactly who.
Is it Speaks? You see Speaks right there coming. He just shoots a gap, couldn't get there, and it was just great team defense on the outside.
Speaks on Ulysses Banks.
Yeah, number 2 did a good job there, and that's Daniel Brooks, one of the candidates for Conference Player of the Year in this conference. And what a great play there. And every now and then, hey, you take the negative and turn it into a positive. And that's a good job by the Jackson State defense. It's really starting to enforce their will on this Alabama A&M offense.
So they didn't get a points by way of a field goal or touchdown, but they did manage 2 points on the safety with 5:51 to go here in the second quarter to make it a 13-8 ball game. There's Ben Blacknall, who was a former head coach at Delaware State and now the line coach here at Alabama A&M, talking over the things with Anthony Jones, the head coach. And not only does Jackson State get the points, but they get the football back.
You know, we give Coach Jones a lot of credit. He probably doesn't get credit for surrounding himself with good people.
Oh, he does.
I mean, the key to being a good coach, he's got a bright young mind. And Cedric Pearl, the offensive coordinator, you talk about Ben Blacknall, who has head coaching experience. And then you talk about Bronsky Towns, that's been in Alabama A&M forever. You know, but he kept him on board and let the defense do it. So Coach Jones has done a great job of surrounding himself with great people. And that's why this program has had the success it's had in the past couple of years. Oh, wow.
Man, out of bounds. He should have let the ball go out of bounds.
Wow.
Not a good decision on the far sideline by Jamar Johnson, one of the top return people around the conference as far as the kickoff return people is concerned. Don't forget, coming up at the half on SportsCenter U, Mike Gleason and Steve Israel will be in the studio to talk about the Ohio State-Wisconsin contest, Arizona State against Oregon. That's where game day originated today, out in the Pacific Northwest. And, of course, the big Southeast Conference game between LSU and Bama down in Tuscaloosa.
Not too far away, huh?
Yeah.
Saban coming back. Or Saban's old team.
The Saban Bowl. The Saban Bowl. At the 24-yard line, here's Cody Hull on the carry for about 4 or 5 yards.
Good patience by Hull there, running that toss to the outside, looking for the right gap to attack. And he got that new look going on. I'm trying to get used to it. Everybody's got the dreads. They want to cover up the name. You know, I was from that generation where we were just so happy to have our names on the back of the jersey. We wanted everybody to know
who you were. Right?
Now Rasheem Mathis, you know, and Al Harris, all those guys in the NFL, and Ricky Williams, they start this trend where you cover up the names now.
This one is complete for first down across the 40 to the 41-yard line. So Jimmy Oliver starting to heat up a little bit. Jamar Johnson on the receiving end. Came in, Jamar, that is, with 17 catches, 301 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
See there, Jamar Johnson just running a curl route and settling in the hole. And
here's Oliver again. Throws it out in the flat, and it's incomplete. Now he throws it away. Well, at least he had the presence of mind to throw it away.
You know, and one thing about Jimmy Oliver, we haven't seen him throw a ball in stride all game. You know, it's not like he's got the ball taken 1, 2, 3, got rid of the football. So that lets me know, and the defense can realize this as well, that he's not a guy that's reading the coverages early. What he's doing is he's reacting to what the defense is doing. Now, there's some great quarterbacks that could do that. Joe Montana was one of those guys. He got credit for the 3-step drop, but he could also adjust on the fly better than anybody else. And Jimmy Oliver's one of those guys where he's relying solely on just adjustments and reacting to whatever the defense is doing.
And this time he gives the ball off to Cody Hull, and Hull finds it going a little tough there as he picks up maybe 3 yards up to about the 44-yard line. So it'll bring up 3rd down and 7. And you're talking about trying to get this running game going. That is for Jackson State. You know, they just 289 running attempts for the season, passing 222, 57%. That was before the last 2 ball games. In the last 2 games, they passed the ball 69 times and ran it 49. So the percentages have changed tremendously, and they want to get back where they can do that. Here's Oliver, takes off, has the first down across midfield into Alabama A&M territory with 4:03 to go in the first half.
You know, it was weird because as you were talking about the Alabama A&M run defense, I was thinking, if you're going to run the ball against Alabama A&M, it's got to be with the quarterback. I mean, we've covered them so much. We rarely hear about running backs having 100-yard rushing game on this defense because they're coached very well. Although they're small, schematically, they've got a great scheme to stop the run. The only time I've seen them struggle stopping the run has been by mobile quarterbacks. So if you're Jackson State, just let Jimmy Oliver be your running game today and let your running backs be your lead blockers.
First down and 10 now. Offsides is going to be whistled against Alabama A&M. Somebody jumped prematurely. So I'm sure they'll take the 5-yard penalty, and it'll repeat first down. It'll be 1st and 5.
One of the things we keep talking about you know, the size differential between Alabama A&M and Jackson State. You know, just if you take a look at the defensive tackle comparison.
Outside, number 90 on the defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Frank Kierce offsides. Ronaldo Askew is the man that's shaken up there. The sophomore, while they're tending to him, we'll take a break. 1st and 5 for Jackson State when we come back. 5-point ball game here in Huntsville. There you get a good look at Chris Traylor there. Preseason first team all conference, 31.5 sacks throughout his career.
You know, one of the things we talked about, the size. I mean, Chris Traylor, that's their sack guy for Alabama A&M. 5'10", 221 pounds. When you go to Brooks on the other side, he's the small guy for Jackson State, but he goes 6'2", 250. And then you talk about in the trenches, you've got guys for Alabama A&M that are playing nose tackle at 260 pounds, and you've got 2 320-pound defensive linemen for Jackson State. So sooner or later, once the big team continues to play big, Alabama A&M has to overcome that. And as the game goes on, the big guys just keep wearing down this smaller team. And I think Alabama A&M has slowed down because Jackson State has figured out a way to get physical with them.
Get physical. We'll call it 2nd down and a long 2 now after that run by Eric Hall. They're going to have to get down just inside the 38-yard line, close to the 37. That is Jackson State to pick up the first down. This is a 2nd down play. That was a 1st and 5 play. Eric Hall, the second back in the eye. Eric Hall has the call, has the first down, still on his feet, bouncing off people and down inside the 30 to right about the 30-yard line is where they're going to spot it. So it's a gain of 10 yards on the run by Eric Hall. Came in as the 5th leading rusher in the SWAC, averaging 4.4 yards a carry.
You know, hey, we got a defensive line with an opportunity to make a tackle for a loss. He misses the tackle. Hall, a good running back that he is, makes him pay by getting the first down yardage and then some. Hall's a good-looking back. I mean, I like him. He's one of those backs that really doesn't have to lead a game. He can catch the ball at the backfield. He can run, make the first guy miss. And he's just a junior, so they've got a good running back in Eric Hall.
Oliver back to pass, incomplete. Through the breadbasket of Giles coming out of the backfield. He think he may have heard footsteps, but going back to Eric Hall, you know, here's a young man that had 294 yards running in the 2 games before they played Jackson State. I'm sorry, Grambling State University, and they lost that game 30-20 down in Jackson, Mississippi. The last 2 games, just 27 yards and 2 touchdowns, a 5 and a 22-yard, 5 yards in one game and 22 yards in another. So far today, Eric Hall has done a pretty good job on 10 carries, 51 yards. I just didn't like what he did on that last touchdown try down at the end zone. But other than that, he's having a pretty good game.
Yeah, he's been solid, you know, and they've got to be able to run the ball. And this offense it's tough because, you know, you understand the concept of what they're trying to do. I mean, ideally they would love to spread you out and throw it all over the place, but I think because of the type of quarterback that they have, the opposing defenses don't treat the passing game with the respect they need to, because the quarterback is looking to run first, pass second, and they're just really defending the run. When we talk about defending the run, you're not only trying to stop the quarterback, but the running back too, and I think the running back's yards suffer because of that.
3rd downs, 2 of 7 in 3rd down conversions today for Jackson State. Under duress, Oliver lets it go, has a man there, but he is defended pretty well downfield right at the 10-yard line. They were trying to get it into the hands of Jamar Johnson, and he was covered pretty good. It'll bring up 4th down.
And that's what happens. You got a quarterback that's looking to run. So he's looking to run. He's not stepping up to throw that ball. He had room right there. He was stepping up to try and create something. And when you've got a wide receiver running down the seam late, he's been open for 2 seconds. He knows he's going to get hit now.
Yeah, but
the ball was thrown perfect. He should have caught it because you're going to get hit anyway.
Right.
But you help out your wide receivers when you give them the ball in stride where they can make some folks miss.
49-yard field goal attempt.
Just confidence in your kick
for Eric Perry, who has a 50-yarder so far this year. He's already hit a couple. He's hit a 39 and a 46. This is a 49-yard attempt. Oliver, the holder, the kick is up. It's not going to make it. It's going to be short. Going to be short. Had the
straight. It was straight.
Yeah.
But the trajectory came out of there, and you know he popped up the 9-iron when he needed to bear down on it and punch it through there a little bit. Trajectory was too high.
Let's go.
So Jackson State takes over with 1:56 to go. And, you know, this game, we talk about why it's so important, looking at the standings once again as far as the SWAC is concerned in the Eastern Division. You know, Alabama A&M and Jackson State both 5-1, followed by Alabama State, Mississippi Valley, and Alcorn. Then over in the West, Grambling, you know, the closest team to them is Southern University, and Southern has 2 losses as far as conference games are concerned. Of course, the big game coming up, the Bayou Classic, Thanksgiving weekend down in New Orleans, and you know, Southern University can have some say as to whether Grambling goes into the SWAC championship should they prevail with an unbeaten conference record.
Yeah, you know, G-Man, interesting game today. They got to take on Alabama State, so that game could take on some importance. And Grambling just kind of rolling. Give credit where credit is due. Rob Broadway's coming in and done a fantastic job. Now you see Alabama A&M going to, and you can do this with a senior quarterback, regardless of if you're up or down going into the half. Put the ball in Kelsey Luke's hands, let him call some plays, get your 2-minute offense going, trying to increase your lead going into halftime.
One of the things that Coach Anthony Jones was concerned about is they hadn't made any real big plays in the last 2 ball games, and they get the pass complete on the far side to Rashad Johnson. Just 3 plays over 20 yards. 2 were, you know, they had 2 plays over 20 yards, but then they had 5 drop passes against Alabama State. Then they had 2 against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Those are the types of things that's been frustrating for this offense for Alabama A&M. Here's Kelsey Luke throwing it down the sideline, has a man wide open, touchdown. Harris for 6. 49 yards. And there it is, the big play. We were just talking about it. They hadn't had a big play, and now they have a big one today.
Cover 2, Dominique Johnson took a poor angle, but Alabama State has started to do, because they couldn't stop up front, doing 3-step drops. So he's in the gun, but he's getting rid of this ball. Wide hash mark, and look at the angle. He didn't even see the ball coming. Dominique Johnson thought he was throwing the ball to the out route instead of the deep route, and Thomas Johnson just continues. Thomas Harris continues to pad his stats. He's their big play wide receiver, averages 17 yards per carry, and he got a bunch of them there on that touchdown grab.
He certainly did, and here's the point after. Jeremy Lycia, this one is blocked. It could be picked up and run back for a couple of yards, for a couple points, but it's not going to be picked up. We're not going to see the high school play that we saw with 15 laterals, are we?
No, the officials did a good job of
the
throwing
penalty
the flag
marker is down, yeah.
For batting the ball forward as a defensive player, you can't bat the ball forward.
There you see Mr. Kelsey Luke with another touchdown pass this year, his 18th pass of the season, touchdown pass of the season, and of course for Thomas Harris, his 6th receiving touchdown of the year. Last year against Jackson State, he had a touchdown on 2 catches for 14 yards, and he just taken up where he left off a year ago. Sophomore out of Russell High down in Alexander City, Alabama.
We talk about Kelsey Luke not having the prototypical size for a big-time quarterback, but that was a big-time throw. I mean, from one hash to the other, he stuck that seam route in there.
Illegal touching of the ball by Jackson State. That's what the signal is. And there's Kelsey Luke. What a career he's had here. You know, he's led his team to 7 wins as a freshman, 9 wins in each of the last 2 seasons, 16 touchdowns this season, or 17 this season coming in, 3 against Tennessee State, 4 against Clark Atlanta, 3 against Mississippi Valley, 4 against Texas Southern, 2 against Southern. I mean, he's had some really big games, and you know, he didn't have any preseason honors go his way, and he had a lot to prove to a lot of people this season that maybe he's deserving of the Player of the Year in this conference.
Yeah, I think early on he was definitely on track to win it, running away. Then it got a little closer. He stumbled there a little bit in the past couple of weeks, and now, I mean, you know, judging by victories, and you take a look at the bands. Look at that. Halftime, they're praying, trying to make sure they do the right thing at halftime, and one of the things they always try to do is say, hey, we're going to be on national TV, and we know that Charles Neal has seen more bands than anybody in America in terms of black college football, and, you know, can we let him say good things about us?
Well, not a lot of time left here in this first half. From the 11-yard line, Jackson State on the return. Javarius Giles And he's out to the 30-yard line. Let's look at the touchdown once again.
This play's blown dead. And I mean, look at that. He's on the far right hash, all the way back across the field, a frozen rope. And although the safety, Dominique Johnson, took a poor angle, you see Kelsey knew right away, what? Oh, you're going to do what? You know, and you take it personal. You know, a safety, you're going to try and jump a route on me? You know, that's one thing where a quarterback gets upset when you catch DBs trying to jump routes and they don't think you have enough arm strength to get it there. That was a big-time throw by Kelsey Luke. It's probably the most impressive throw he's made in the first half today.
He continues to get it done. Kelsey Luke. Alabama A&M's all-time passing leader, as Eric Hall gets the carry. As the first half is winding down here, he picks up about 9 yards out to the 39-yard line. Talk about Kelsey Luke. 54 touchdown passes throughout his career. How many did you have at Howard?
Not 54.
How many did you have? I know you know.
I wish I knew. I threw 24 my senior, 18 junior. So what was that? Not bad.
Yeah, 40, 50, 43.
In 3 years, not bad.
2 years. You were only there 2 years.
That's what well, yeah. What did I say, 4? But
you don't know when you were there.
I know it's not. It can't end with a 3, Charlie. 24 plus 18, so it's got to be a
42.
6. Yeah, 42.
Got to be a 6.
It had Rupert Grant not been such a ball hog. I had a fullback that had 20 touchdowns. We're not going to count how many
had
of them were 3 yards
him, right?
or less. Yeah.
But you had to hand it to him.
Didn't help out my stat sheet, though.
Eric Hall again in the secondary, and Eric Hall across midfield. I'm surprised at what your team did against Norfolk State last week.
They compete. You know, Coach Bailey's doing a good job, and you know, at conference is tough, and they got a good defense. Anytime you got a defense that can keep you in there with the front 7, you can beat anybody. And Norfolk State, I think, you know, my old coach Denny Green said they started reading the headlines, assuming that they were just going to walk over Howard and win their homecoming. And, you know, you can judge a team by how much they compete, but how do they handle success? And Norfolk State had success, and I don't think they handled success well. Should have been a wake-up call, and that wake-up call might cost them the MEAC title.
We'll see what happens today. Meanwhile, first down and 10 at midfield for Jackson State. Here's Oliver throwing out in the flat, and the clock stops with 4 seconds remaining before halftime.
That's 0.4 seconds remaining. So now it looks as if they're going to have to go for the Hail Mary. You know, had they managed this a little better, when you got a kicker that's a weapon, you got to think, I just got to get to that 35-yard line and we can go for it. In this case, they're not going to do it because they're going to run out of time.
This should be the last play of the half. Here's Oliver throwing it deep toward the end zone. This will be picked off. Intercepted. Last play of the first half. So the only turnover in the first half, if you want to count the block kick, it's the only turnover of the first half. And as they go into the locker room, big day, 16-8. Alabama A&M out in front. They do pretty good when leading at halftime, and they're leading here today.
No curve.
It's halftime here on Senior Day in Huntsville, Alabama, in this SWAC matchup between the Tigers of Jackson State and the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M. College basketball on ESPNU begins Monday night. Action from Huntsville is coming up.
Alabama 8.
Here in Huntsville, Alabama, the area's launch office at Marshall is responsible for development and overall integration of Ares 1, the crew launch vehicle that will transport the Orion Crew Exploration Vehicle into space and deliver uncrewed cargo payloads to space. This includes leading propulsion design, development, systems engineering, full integration of elements, and safety and mission assurance activities. It's NASA Day here on the campus of Alabama A&M. It's also Senior Day, and speaking of a couple seniors, Jay, as we're at halftime, 19-8, getting ready to start the second half. We're talking about a couple quarterbacks who are seniors who've kind of trying to lead their team to the promised land this year.
And both these quarterbacks are essential to their team having success. And I think it's been a tale of both these quarterbacks to where we are now in this football contest. When you talk about the first half highlights for Jackson State, it's all centered around Jimmy Oliver. And one thing Jimmy Oliver can do is throw the football well when he has time in the pocket. But his most dangerous asset is this ability when everything breaks down to get outside the pocket, create with his feet, and get his team in the scoring position with efforts like this.
And then you have Kelsey Luke on the other side, keeping his team ahead of the pack.
And Kelsey's a mobile quarterback too. As the years have gone on, he's developed more arm strength and can rely on throwing rockets like this. When we're talking about NASA Day here in Alabama A&M, that was a perfectly thrown ball to give his team the success. And oh yeah, the celebration, the athleticism, and that's why the Coach Anthony Jones Bulldogs are halfway down Route 65 trying to clinch a berth in the SWAC championship.
And I think one of the things he has to be happy with is that he's only picked up 3 penalties in the first half, something that they'd not done a good job of eliminating penalties in the first or last couple of ball games, I should say. So no penalties of any significance that has hurt Alabama A&M so far today.
This is the part of the game I like. You know, we talk about coaches out there, and, you know, all the coaches want to have great players. Now it's a matter of who went in and made second-half adjustments, and this is where the great coaching takes over. You take a look at the numbers there. Kelsey Luke, 50%, 153 yards with a touchdown. Jimmy Oliver, a little bit less than 50% passing ratio, but he's got to run the ball. He's got to run, and I think one of the halftime adjustments Coach Comagee's staff is going to make is get Jimmy Oliver more involved in the running game to open up the passing lanes in the running game for the pure running backs.
And he had an interception just before half, although it will count against him statistically. It wasn't significant. It was the last play on a Hail Mary. Now he's in trouble. Now he scampers out of trouble, picks up about 5 yards. As we look at the first half overall stats, what stands out in your mind?
You know, the penalties came at crucial times there. They actually hurt Jackson State because they got a couple as they were moving into A&M territory and took points off the board. You can make that argument there. And then, you know, the turnovers, I don't really count that one as the interception thrown late. But the passing yards, 153 yards by Kelsey Luke. He's on his way to throwing for over 300 yards this game.
Here's Oliver, just overthrows everybody. You're talking about that penalties last week against Alabama State. Alabama A&M was penalized 11 times in that game for 98 yards and scored just 3 times in 6 trips to the red zone. This today so far they've done a pretty good job in the red zone.
You know, yes, and they're getting better. I mean, Alabama A&M is a great football team. Let's not knock them. And Jackson State came in here trying to pull off an upset, and they still have a chance to do it. Considering how poorly they played to start off this contest, they got down 13-0 in the blink of an eye. The fact that they're only down by 11 at halftime means that they're still in this contest. They just have to get their act together.
Neither team played extremely well a week ago. I mean, even though they both came out victorious, as we get a good grab down there on the reception for Jackson State. Coming up with it is Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson had a big 71-yard catch against Grambling a couple of weeks ago that put points on the board.
Look at Johnson snatched that ball out of his air. It was overthrown, but he used that big 6'2" frame and went and snatched that ball out of the air for the big reception.
First down. Here's Oliver again, pulls it down and throws as he's going down, and Simpson has it for first down across midfield. Boy, I'll tell you, now that's athleticism on the part of Jimmy Oliver as he's getting pulled down and still managed to get that ball away.
I mean, you see him staying in the pocket, doesn't like what he sees, getting ready to go down, and still has the wherewithal to get the completion for the positive.
He didn't even know it was complete. He didn't even see what was going on. He was hoping it was complete. Eric Hall now. And Eric Hall picks up about 4 yards. Make it 3 down to the inside the 45 to about the 44-yard line. You know, talking about Jackson State and Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M played Alabama State and came away with a 13-9 victory a week ago in the Magic City Classic, and it was a 17-6 win over Arkansas Pine Bluff for Jackson State. Do you think that both teams, players-wise, was looking beyond those games to this week?
Well, it's the Alabama A&M against Alabama State. No, they just can't, because, you know, that's bragging rights in the state, and the programs are so intertwined where that game is normally an upset. You know, the team that's supposed to win normally doesn't win. And Alabama A&M, when they had a dogfight, because they knew Alabama State was going to fight them. And I think for Jackson State, the fact, you know, they can't afford to look past anybody. Every week they've got to come out and play their best game of football, or else their season's going to end that last game of the year when they take on Alcorn State.
Look at the last play here by Jimmy Oliver.
And that's a little delayed trap there, and, you know, they really had some success when they attacked the edge running with Jimmy. Give him a lead blocker and allow him to follow the fullback and watch good things happen.
Third down now. He has it complete on the near sideline and breaking the tackle. Still down the sideline is Gray. Gray is going in for a touchdown. Touchdown, Jackson State.
Man, was that
Rodney Gray has only his second touchdown this year. Good for 43 yards. But let's see. There may be a penalty marker down, and I think it's going to be against Alabama A&M. Offside.
Offside. Number 15 on the defense. Penalty declined. Touchdown.
So here's Jimmy Oliver with Rodney Gray, the sophomore, who transferred from Ole Miss out of Batesville, Mississippi, with only his 8th catch of the year. He dropped 3 passes against Tennessee State, but he gets into the end zone with his 2nd touchdown reception this year, and Eric Perry is on for the point after, and now an opportunity for it to be a 4-point ball game. 19-8 score before that one. Here's Eric Perry. 21 of 22. This is a fake. Here's Oliver. Keeps it, takes it in for 2. He converts the 2-point conversion. Jimmy Oliver, the holder, takes it in. So the game is now 3 points. 19-16. Jimmy Oliver upstairs to Rodney Gray, who breaks a tackle, and he takes it 43 yards. And then on the point after, the fake. Oliver takes it in for 2, and it's a 3-point game in Huntsville.
As we grow.
You're watching ESPNU College Football presented by Citi. It's an Eastern Division battle in the SWAC as Alabama A&M hosts the Tigers of Jackson State. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. Nobody in the backfield for Jackson State. Oliver calling the signals from the shotgun.
Middle of the field still wide open.
Lets it fly down into the end zone. Touchdown! Jackson State. Jamar Johnson or Terrence Jones. Terrence Jones, his first touchdown reception this season.
If it's not broken, don't fix it. And if they don't learn how to make adjustments, go right back to it. Terrence Jones, they came out in the 5 wide receiver set, kept one of the backs in the block, seam route. Good throw by Oliver, and Jones just turns on the jets, and that's just a mismatch. Anytime you're talking about having Jones, a wide receiver that lines up in the slot of tight end going against a linebacker, Dorian Whalen. Good throw, perfect execution by the Tigers, and they've gained the lead in this contest for the first time all afternoon.
They used 7 plays. They went 94 yards. The point after is good, and the first lead of the ball game for Jackson State. They're up 23-19 here in Huntsville. Oliver, 2 touchdown passes today. You're watching ESPNU College Football presented by Citi. It's an Eastern Division battle in the SWAC as Alabama A&M hosts the Tigers of Jackson State. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. It is 1st and 10 at the 30. Jackson State with the ball. Driving offsides again by Alabama A&M. Pass into the end zone. Touchdown, Jackson State. Jamar Johnson.
M-O-F-O, middle of field open. Attack it, you send somebody there, good things will happen. Jackson State making great halftime adjustments.
Number 9 on the defense. Close the time. Touchdown.
Now remember, this came after the onside recovery of the muff by Alabama A&M. 40 yards.
Coming right into your living room. That tells you there they're playing 0-man coverage, really putting strain on your defensive backs and your corners. In that case, Stephon Tucker, one-on-one, gave up the post route, and Oliver threw a strike. We talk about his running, but he settled down and found his accuracy in the second half.
Perry for the point after. And Eric Perry splits the uprights, 30-19. It's been a 30-6 run for Jackson State. Oliver has thrown 3 touchdown passes here in the second half, and his team leads it by 11.
Maybe your car is trying to tell you something. Maybe it's asking for the hard-working gasoline at Phillips 66. Gas specially formulated to help clean fuel injectors in 5 tanks, which helps you maximize mileage and reduce emissions. Give your car what it's asking for. Give it Phillips 66. Hard-working gas.
Awesome.
awesome. Okay. Hi, I'm Jennifer Love Hewitt. It is time to come right out with it. To talk freely and openly about my love affair with Proactive Solution.
I think people would be surprised to know that I've had little problems here and there because Hollywood's job is to make it seem like everything's effortless for us and we wake up looking this way and then, of course, we don't have pimples or anything else. My breakouts were under the skin, all in this sort of area, and that's the difficult stuff to cover. So I decided to try Proactive. And within probably a week and a half, my skin was completely different. And every day there was just less pimples on my face.
Wouldn't you like to watch your pimples just disappear? Now you can with Proactive's proven 3-step system. Proactive combines powerful medicines with soothing botanicals to heal acne and prevent future breakouts.
Once I started using Proactive, it really balanced my skin out. Now I have nice skin, so it's good.
Don't wait any longer to try Proactive, the #1 best-selling acne system in America, and save 50%, just $19.95.
What's so great about Proactive is not only did I get rid of the blemishes, but my skin, my actual skin improved.
I love being able to look in the mirror and just go, wow, you know?
And the best part? Proactive guarantees clear skin on all ages and all skin types, or your money back.
With a 60-day money-back guarantee, why not try Proactive? If it doesn't work for you, you just send back the bottles.
Not scoring touchdowns in the first half. Jackson State has scored 3 touchdowns here in the second half, every possession that they've had. They came out, drove all the way down the field 80 yards, scored, and then a 94-yard drive scored, and this last one a 40-yard drive. As you look at Jimmy Oliver, who's thrown 3 touchdown passes this afternoon, all here in the second half, and he's thrown them to 3 different receivers, Gray, Jones, and Johnson. So he's spreading the wealth around. Here's another squib kick. This time it is fielded by the up man and that's Stockdale, who fielded it, and he takes it right back to about the 49-yard line, where it'll be 1st down and 10 for Alabama A&M.
Well, this is developing to become a shootout.
Yep.
Good old-fashioned shootout. Okay, Jimmy Oliver said, hey, I did mine. Now, what are you going to do, Kelsey Luke? It's your turn to respond. And you got to like that as a quarterback. And proud of a guy like Jimmy Oliver. I mean, in the open, we said that he had to play well. This could be his defining moment as a quarterback for the Jackson State Tigers. Hometown hero who they just love down there, but has yet to lead them to a championship. And now he's getting that much closer to living up to that potential that everybody down there in Mississippi knew he had.
Offsides on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty will move the ball across midfield and down to the 46-yard line. So now great field position, even better so for Alabama A&M as they start at the 46 rather than at their own 49.
Wow, you talk about aggressive defense. Jackson State's getting ready to blitz everybody, trying to get to Kelsey Luke.
But wide open, Rashad Johnson, and Rashad takes it down to the 15-yard line, where it is a 1st down, and the player shaking up on the play. And is that Kelsey Luke, or is that Ulysses Banks that's down?
Seems like that's Banks that's down.
Ulysses Banks looks like he's shaking up, but that was good for 31 yards.
I'm telling you, good quarterbacks are in control. They dare you to blitz, because that means you're getting one-on-one on the outside. And what a perfectly thrown ball by Kelsey Luke. That's how you throw the fade route. I mean, you see that middle of the field, they're bringing the blitz, and even if they're doing the zone blitz, one-on-one on the outside, perfectly thrown outside shoulder, defensive backs in no man's land. And
Jeremy Price, he was replaced in the starting lineup today by Hedgeman. That might have been the reason.
You know, when you talk about Price, I mean, that's a corner that goes 6'3", 215, so that's a big corner. So you can tell the trajectory of the throw by Kelsey Luke was perfect to get it over the big cornerback, and the catch by Johnson. And Johnson's just a freshman, but son, when you get a little bit older, you're going to catch that ball in stride and take it to the house for the touchdown to help your quarterback pad his touchdown interception ratio.
Ulysses Banks helped off the field. He's coming off under his own power. More importantly, 1st and 10, Alabama A&M trailing in this ball game 30-19, trying to get something going right now. Lone setback is Kevin McCants. Here's a pass knocked down by the defender downfield. Good job defending that one. That was Palmer on the defense of that pass. Malcolm Palmer out of Otagoville, Alabama. Homegrown, not a transfer, trying to get to the tight end, Moody again.
And, you know, Palmer plays that little rover type / outside linebacker position, and he actually is one of the leaders in interceptions for the Jackson State Tigers with 4 interceptions on the year. And playing man-to-man coverage like that, you can see how he's got those 4 INTs.
Anthony Green, the lone man in the backfield right now. Here's Luke, want to go upstairs, going up to his tight end, and is knocked away. He was trying to get to the John Smith, and it goes incomplete. And Keith Camp was there defensively, not Camp, rather that was number 6, Dominique Johnson.
Yeah, good job just going up, and look at Johnson's effort, getting very aggressive here, trying to get that ball, and he wanted to come down with that interception, and that's why you do those drills every day in practice. Defensive back coaches teach this defense to go get the ball at its highest point.
3rd down, Rashad Johnson's on the right side. Going to the top of your screen is Thomas Harris. 3rd and 10. Here's Luke looking left. Decides to take off and throw, and it goes incomplete. He was trying to get it to Stockdale. Stockdale covered there, but just couldn't grab it by Willie Williams, number 27.
He's had trouble connecting with Stockdale on this type route early in the game. It's like the ball sneaking up on Stockdale. Not a bad throw, and Kelsey's trying to hit the out route and just a little bit too far extended. You would like to see your wide receiver in that case there. You can't square up your shoulders and slow down. You got to keep running toward the sideline because you've got man-to-man coverage.
2 field goals already today by Lycia, 36 and 4. Here's a penalty flag down by 36 and 41 yards. This one will be, if this, let's see what the penalty is.
Good ball. False start. Number 88 on offense. 5-yard penalty. Beat it down.
So Moody again with the false start. That moves it back to the 26 or 27. So it'll be a 37-yard field goal attempt.
And that can help in decreasing that angle, too. When you're in the far right hash and you're so close, you really got to pull it. So it's an easier angle to make from here.
It's up, and it's good. So 3 field goals by Jeremy Lycia today. That's 9 points for him, coming in as the number 2 scorer in the conference. And Perry with a pair of field goals. So we have your weekly.
Time to talk some ball. It's time for ball talk, Charlie. You know what we do. 5 questions going around, and we'll start with number 5. Ball talk around the SWAC. The coaching changes. A lot of rumors out there in the air, and it happens this time of year every year. And you know, we talk. You and I talk off camera about this all the time. And you know, could be some openings in the state of Texas. We don't like to call the schools out. Could be some openings in.
There ain't but 2 schools in Texas, and we know it's not going to happen in Prairie View.
Could be some opening. Could be some openings in Mississippi.
Yeah,
you hear talk there, so
and it won't be a Jackson.
You know, it won't be a Jackson. You know, hey, and there could be some openings in Alabama, A&M. I mean, you know, you talk about a coach like Anthony Jones.
Not because he's not going to be
going to get fired,
right?
But because of he's doing the right thing. This is how you build a program from the ground up, recruit, and get the reaps of the hard work that he's done. And I always say, if there's going to be a coach that's going to make the jump from the black college level to the major college level, I think he is the candidate. He's the guy to do it. He's done a fantastic job. So Alabama A&M, love your coach, but you better really, really love him and hope he stays, because I think sooner or later they're going to come calling for him.
He was a 2001 finalist for the Eddie Robinson Award that goes to the Championship Subdivision Coach of the Year. Of course, the coach from Appalachian State was the winner last year, even though it took him 2 years to give it to him.
After 2 national championships.
2 national championships. Here's the long kick. Dominique Johnson on the return. Breaks outside. Flag is down. He's still on his feet, but this is going to come back. Because normally when that flag goes down, that's in the vicinity of holding. And he's still going and down all the way to the 30-yard line. A great return, but they're going to bring that one all the way back to about the 25-yard line.
Well, you know, one thing happened at the end of that one. I don't know if there was a face mask, but there were 2 flags.
Keith Camp was the man on the return, number 5.
There were 2 flags that happened there. I wonder if one happened late in terms of a face mask that far down the field.
Well, that's one flag. There's one all the way to across midfield. Now, what is this one? So maybe 2 penalties on the play. Let's listen.
We had 2 fouls on the return. On the return team. We had number 41 on the white. Blocking the back. Number 46 against the white. That penalty accepted. First down.
And there you look at Rick Comegys and look at Jimmy Oliver, what he's done here in the third quarter in terms of 3 touchdown passes. His first one goes to Gray, and that's their first touchdown of the day. And they go with a 2-point conversion. And then he goes upstairs to Mr. Jones. And here's number 3. Jamar Johnson takes it into the end zone. And Oliver's a happy man. And now Jackson State has the ball once again, this time at their own 17-yard line. And they're trying to run the ball this time, keeping it on the ground, running it off to the right side. Simpson on the carry. And let's look at what he's done this quarter alone. 9 of 10, 186 yards, 3 touchdowns for the game. 16 of 26, 275 yards.
He's been, I mean, that's perfect almost. I can't even remember the incomplete pass he had there. When you talk about quarterback efficiency rating, I think that would be somewhere around that Tom Brady, Peyton Manning atmosphere.
Who do you like in that game?
The home team. The teams are that evenly matched, and they both got great
Not evenly
quarterbacks.
matched.
I think, are you saying the Patriots are better than the Colts? Colts are defending Super Bowl champs.
Okay.
You know, I'm a fan of Ric Flair. To beat a man, you got to beat the man.
Oliver dancing a little bit too much and loses yards back to the 20-yard line. I understand all of that.
Sounds like you think that New England's going to win.
I just, until they prove me otherwise, I mean, I like both the fact that both, it's like if these two teams today came in here unbeaten, there's a team that you have a better feel about.
Yeah,
and I have a better feel about New England, although I'm an Indianapolis fan, but I have a better feel about it. I'm a realist.
Well, wait till Brady sees some pressure delivered by the spinners. And one of the spinners for Indianapolis Colts is an alumnus of Alabama A&M, a young man by the name of Robert Mathis. So I'm sure the folks here in Alabama don't like you saying that their homeboy is going to lose.
Pressure on Oliver, and he just got that off before Dominic Cummings right there, number 96, leveling.
Look at, you see the big pads? 6'3", 200 pounds playing defensive end. You know, I mean, just take a look at that. That's how you're doing. You see the outside of the field coming in on the inside, and, you know, just opens up wide open. He just couldn't get it to it. But that's the secondary look that they've seen in the secondary.
The other thing that you got to deal with, Jay, is the fact you're from California. You get a new manager out there with the Dodgers. Are you happy?
No, I grew up a Dodger fan, and I don't want a Yankee ever coaching the Dodgers. It's just managing the Dodgers.
Come on.
No. No.
You got the best manager in baseball. Here's Frank Moore on the return, and he is dropped down at the 45-yard line.
So tell you how far of a Dodger fan I am. I remember when Joe Torre managed the Braves. I didn't like him then, so I really don't like him now.
All right. That's too bad. You won't be doing any more baseball.
I mean, Torre, they don't like Torre in L.A. When he was with the Braves, he had Bob Horner and Dale Murphy and all those guys, you know, and Steve Bedrosian and Glenn Hubbard. You know, I'm a Dodger fan. Fernando Valenzuela was one of my heroes. So never forget the Braves kept the Dodgers out the pennant one year. So now he went to the Yankees. That didn't make us like him anymore. And now he wants to come coach L.A. I don't like all that movement in sports. I'm old school.
He didn't want to coach it. He didn't have a choice. Alabama A&M with the ball.
There goes that big
Anthony
D tackle.
Green. Yeah, there's Corey Clark.
It's 320 pounds. You know, and that's what he weighed in that opening day. Now, he's looking like he's about 350 right now.
He's had a couple biscuits since opening day, since weigh-in.
He's been going to our spot. What's our spot we go to in Jackson? Peaches.
Peaches.
He's been going to Peaches, getting some of that soul food buffet for about $5.
Or the fisherman's place up there, the buffet.
Yeah. They're feeding them. I mean, they're big, but, you know, when you got those big D tackles, you can't run up the middle. I mean, even if they're not active, they're just hard to move.
Second down, about 13 now. Kelsey Luke looking for somebody to throw it to. Overthrows the intended receiver, Harris. Harris was open, and he was trying to convert. It'll bring up a third down. Here's Rashad Harris.
You could criticize Kelsey Luke at all
Thomas
for his performance today. Every time he's had to step up and throw the ball to his left, he's kind of squaring his shoulders and he's missing. He's pulling it to the left. So he's not getting his shoulders completely around, and he's kind of falling off to the left side, thereby leading his receivers too far to the outside when he's throwing the ball to the left, rolling left.
Third down. Make it 3rd and 14. Luke again. A little pressure coming. Here it is. And he manages to get it off. Wide open and overthrown again. Again, trying to get it to Thomas Harris.
Now he's falling in love with his arm strength. You know, he's lifting little weights. He's got some guns and showing off with the arm. But, I mean, so hard to do when you're going to throw that ball completely against the other side of the field. You lose accuracy. And, I mean, that's not a Kelsey Luke type performance. I mean, he's a passer that's closer to the 60% range than the 50% range right now. And see Coach Jones kind of tell him, what are you thinking about there? We call this play. You know, I remember Brian Billick used to tell us, if we call a play, we give you 3 wide receivers, 2 are to the right, 1 is to the left. If you go to the left, you better hit that pass 99% of the time because we're calling it to the 2 receiver side.
Yeah, to your strength. If you go to the weakness,
you better know
be
something.
right.
Yeah, you better be right. You better know something.
You know, you're talking about, and we showed you earlier, the FCS poll. Of course, the SWAC has 2 teams ranked in the top 25.
Ball start. Number 49 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And that's Grambling coming in at 18. And then, of course, Alabama A&M comes in this week at number 21. But you look at Villanova coming on this week. The CAA has 7 teams ranked in the top 25. 7 teams.
And you feel proud about that Villanova, don't you? Go ahead and tell it. Admit it to the world.
I mean, it's okay.
I mean, it's not very often you can say your alma mater, Charlie's in the top 25 besides basketball.
Well, yeah.
So say you're proud of them. If Howard ever made top 25, you know I'm doing backflips. The world's going to know about it.
They will. At the old 16-yard line on the return. Alabama A&M goes on defense, and Jackson State gets the ball on offense. And lace up your skates if you want to do some flips on the ice. It's college hockey. ESPNU comes your way Sunday, November 4th. The Black Knights of Army take on the Crusaders of Holy Cross November 4th. Right here on ESPNU at 4 p.m. Eastern. For more, log on ESPNU.com. But you know, you're talking about how strong the Colonial Athletic Association is. Big games there today. 12th ranked James Madison was playing number 7 Dell State. Villanova ranked 23rd is playing number 11 Richmond, and Hofstra is not going to have it easy. They played William and Mary today. So, you know, that's going to be a very interesting stretch for them as far as the CAA. And as far as lineups for the 1AA or the championship subdivision playoffs.
And I'm assuming it was a slip. James Madison must be playing Delaware, not Dell State.
I meant Delaware, right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and what happens when you get so many teams that are ranked so high, they're going to knock each other out. You know, there are only so many playoff spots. You got 16 to be exact, and you get 1 at large for your automatic for your conference. And these super conferences now are going to knock each other out for the 16 spots that are open. So they're going to start playing each other. Then pretty soon those rankings are going to go by the wayside. It's going to go by who you've competed with outside the conference. We did a Southern Conference game last week, and they had 5 teams in there. You know, the coaches were realistic when we talked to them. They say, we're lucky if we get 3 teams in. And they could all be ranked in the top 25, but there's just so many spots in the FCS playoff series.
Keeping it on the ground and nothing doing there as the defense tightens for Alabama A&M and pushes them back, bringing up a 3rd down. You're talking about the Southern Conference. We'll get a chance to see the Appalachian State 2-time defending champs next week right here on Saturday on ESPNU when they take on Western Carolina, a team that can really upset some people down the road. Yeah, even though they're not having a great season, they play very well.
They've got an offense and they got a wide receiver by the name of Eddie Cohen. That was phenomenal. When he plays, he can really turn on the Jets and make great things happen.
3rd down now, and a flag goes down. The Southern Conference, you have Appalachian State, who's ranked 9th, and you also have Wofford, who's ranked 10th in that conference. Elon.
Don't start. 84 White. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Now let's go back to ball talk and see what question number 4 is.
Yeah, you know, since we're talking about best teams around there, you know, in the SWAC, they had that SWAC championship game. And who's going to get there? I mean, Grambling State has really showed what they're made of. I mean, anytime you go undefeated and they're off to an undefeated start in conference play, you're one of the best teams. And the key is, who's not the best team in the West, but what about in the East? You know, the East between Jackson State, Alabama A&M, that margin, you know, you talk about Alabama State right there, that margin is not too great.
I'll tell you the team that you need to look out for all the time is Oliver gets this one complete. Good move out at the 25, out to the 30-yard line, but it's not going to be enough for the 1st down, and probably the last play of the 3rd quarter, and it'll bring up a 4th and 3. And 15 minutes of football facing us here. 30-22. Jimmy Oliver, 3 touchdown passes here in the third quarter.
Bring your favorite team home with Glidden Team Colors paint, the true colors of true fans. Team Colors paint, exclusively from Glidden and only at the Home Depot.
Excuse me, Poppy. Hey, what's up? I know you're busy. Love to meet my family. Sure. Big Sox fans. My dad, Ed.
Hi, Ed. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Mom, Mary.
Hi, Mary. It's a pleasure.
And that's my little sis, Christine.
Christine. Hi. Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you guys.
Thanks. Thanks, Poppy. Nice meeting you. Let's go look at the studio.
Starting Tuesday, Nat Geo strips down the world of science and challenges what we think we know. It's a lot to do in 3 nights. Seeing how the universe could have fit inside the palm of your hand, or how the very first Americans may have traveled here on a seaweed highway, and what New York City could look like after the glaciers melt. 3 nights of naked science starts Tuesday at 8 on Nat Geo, channel 276.
The Range Rover Sport, with complimentary scheduled maintenance. Visit your local Land Rover Center.
You're watching ESPNU College Football presented by Citi. It's an Eastern Division battle in the SWAC as Alabama A&M hosts the Tigers of Jackson State. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. Anthony Jones played his collegiate ball under Willie Jeffries at Wichita State, played with the Redskins, Super Bowl team, tight end. And now the coach here at Alabama A&M, defending SWAC champs. Luke throwing upstairs. Adjustment made. Incomplete. Dominique Johnson had his hands on it. The receiver looked like he was going to come down with it. There he is right there, Thomas Harris. And it fell, should say, to the turf harmlessly, and nobody could come up with it.
Man, that was like 3 flies up. You ever play 3 flies up? We used to play that. You just throw the ball up in the air, see who comes down with it. Both of these guys look like they've got it, and then at the end they both caught it. And they tried to pull it away from each other at the same time, and the ball just fell on the ground. And that's just football 101. Who wants it more? In that case, it was a draw.
Here's a little screen pass out to the right side, and out of bounds is McWhorter after he made the catch.
McWhorter got the big pickup there, and it was a good pickup because Kelsey Luke did such a good job of selling the delay on the screen pass with the timer that he took a shot himself, and Luke really got rattled on that last play, but it was a good job by McWhorter to catch that ball and accelerate in the open field.
Final today, Grambling beat Alabama State 21-7. South Carolina State beat your alma mater 59-21. They're back to reality this week after beating Norfolk State last week. Flag is down. Luke throws incomplete.
They gave up 59 points to South Carolina State. Whew. Not easy. I mean, it's tough anytime your alma mater gives up 50+ points. You can't say anything. So we're an academic institution. That's what we always say.
Yeah, you said that. You didn't say that last week.
Number 2, defense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
talked about you last week. You weren't there, but we talked about it.
I told you it's bad to talk bad about folks behind their backs, Charlie.
I said I talked about you. I didn't say. No, you said it was bad.
I know you. I know you said something bad.
No, we were talking about all your exploits as a passer.
Okay. I got to see it.
Yeah. We talked about your career records and all of that stuff. How Ted White broke all your records.
All of it. And broke is an understatement. Shattered.
And how you got mad because Coach
Did you guys really talk about
didn't pull him out of a game and let him throw 8 touchdown passes in a game when you had 6 or something.
I had 6.5, and Coach pulled me out, and Ted throws 5.5, and he gets to play the whole game.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I don't know what I did to Coach Wilson. I thought I was pretty good. I won 11 games for the man in one season, undefeated. He just watched it like he was having fun breaking my records.
It is 3rd down. Make that make it 2nd down, actually. The ball right at midfield.
Alabama A&M offensively, they look frustrated right now because they would like to run and do play action, but you can't play action when there's no threat of the running game. So
here's Luke. He wants to take off and run with it. Then he throws, and it's caught. And still on his feet is Thomas Harris, and Harris has got the ball all the way down inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. So Thomas Harris with another reception today.
Now, this is not an Anthony Jones type offense that does this. When you got a quarterback that's got to make 3 guys miss just to get an 8-yard pass thrown downfield, great job by Thomas Harris of running after the catch. But wow, I mean, you can't rely on those type of plays all day long. The offensive line's got to do a better job of shoring up that pocket so Kelsey can stay in there. Although he's mobile, as you saw there, he's much more efficient when he's got a nice pocket and can pick you apart.
Rashad Johnson comes out to the left side. Stockdale's going into a slot. Now they're going to call a timeout. That is Alabama A&M, and talk things over. Let's go back to some more ball talk here, Jay.
Well, you know, some of the things that everybody's talking about in the SWAC, I just like to call it ball talk, and, you know, talk about the legends here at Alabama A&M. You know, you come on campus, you got to pay respect to, when you said this was Lewis Cruz Stadium, I thought it was the house that John Stallworth built. That's what I would name it. And you talk about John Stallworth.
There he is, Hall of Famer. John Stallworth, of course, Super Bowl champion. Made some great catches. In fact, I remember interviewing him after they beat the Los Angeles Rams in the Rose Bowl out in Pasadena, California, one of the Super Bowls.
Yeah, I mean, quality guy. And I grew up a Rams fan. The first time I met John Stallworth, he was giving us the team prayer. When my Bison team, we came down here and we played Alabama A&M in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We had a Bible study, and he came out and gave the prayer. Quality individual. I'm so happy, and I think all the black college community is happy, especially Alabama A&M, that he finally got his due and got inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He should have gone in before Lynn Swann, if you ask me, but quality that Swann admitted he needed to be there as well. And he's a legend. They got a young legend now in the NFL we talked about earlier, Robert Mathis.
And then, of course, the young man who played here a year ago, Johnny Baldwin.
Johnny Baldwin
playing with Kansas City Chiefs. And there's a pass to Stockdale. Stockdale with his first catch of the day, and Stockdale is into the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown. 27 yards.
Wow, great job of misdirection. And that's what you have to do when a team is bigger than you and they're beating you to the spot. You can't let them come right at you. You got to bait them in and let them think they have you, and then use the misdirection all the way back across the field. And that was good play calling by Anthony Jones and staff and set offensive coordinator Pearl. I mean, that's what you got to do. And they're going for 2 right now when they're down by 2.
Here's the quarterback into the end zone. Kelsey Luke keeps it and takes it in. And it's a 30. Make that 30. It's all tied at 30 apiece. Kelsey Luke goes upstairs, 27 yards. Stockdale, first reception of the day, good for 6.
This is real-life couple, Beth and Mark, who were matched on eHarmony.com.
It seemed to me that all the other sites was pretty much just the same as like going trolling at the bar, except you were in your own house.
Why did they choose eHarmony after trying other sites?
That was the one site that people were very serious about finding their mate. She was pretty and beautiful smile and everything I was looking for.
Discover what Beth and Mark found. Log on today and review your matches for free.
Hi, it's Vince with ShamWow in half. Use one as a bath mat, drain your dishes with the other one. Use one as a towel. Olympic divers, they use it as a towel. Look at that, completely dry. Put a wet sweater. Call now within the next 20 minutes, because we can't do this all day. We'll give you a second set absolutely free. So that's 8 ShamWows for $19.95. Comes with a 10-year warranty. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-951-4570. That's 1-800-951-4570. ShamWow is not available in stores. Call 1-800-951-4570. That's 1-800-951-4570. Call now.
It's all tied at 30 apiece here in the fourth quarter, 10:53, and after being down by a score of 30-19, 2 unanswered scores by Alabama A&M, a Lycia 37-yard field goal, and then Luke's 27-yard pass to Gerald Stockdale. And now here's a short kick, and Jackson State has to fall on it.
Well, let's take a look at that last touchdown by Alabama A&M. And Malcolm Palmer, the #1 interceptor on this team, the guy number 26 right there in the middle of your screen. We got him isolated. He let Stockdale go all the way across, and he starts looking at Kelsey Luke. Then he realizes, oh, that's my guy. I got to get to him. He's going over there trying to tackle Stockdale. By the time he recognized that they had baited him, he was the guy they were picking on. It was too late. Perfectly drawn up play, perfect execution by the Bulldogs.
I just saw some scores from the CAA, and I'm not sure if somebody had dyslexia or not, but they look like they're upside down, don't they, Jay? Here's Eric Hall going off the left side, and Eric Hall running for a first down.
We thought some of the big boys in the CAA were going to knock each other off. We didn't know that there's going to be a little upset Saturday going on there.
I mean, I've seen a score that says New Hampshire lost to Northeastern 31-13. That Rhode Island beat UMass in overtime 12-6.
And some people thought that UMass, me one of them, I fell into the loop, was one of the best teams in the conference, in the country, and had a chance of winning the whole thing, and they still do. But now, you take a conference loss in that conference, you may not get in.
I mean, New Hampshire has the quarterback Ricky Santos, who was the Walter Payton Award winner from a year ago.
Yeah, it was one of the favorites to repeat, and now, when you get as a quarterback, it's so unfair, but you get 2 losses on your resume. And
UMass went into that game 7-1. New Hampshire went into that game 6-2, and ranked number 8 in the championship subdivision. Delaware beat James Madison by 3, 37-34. So some very interesting happenings. Hofstra beat William and Mary 38-14. They were at home.
Hofstra got a good offense. I mean, they can score some points.
Got a chance to see Hofstra earlier in the year when they played Maine. Maine came out a winner today over Towson. There's some very interesting things happening here.
One interesting thing that's happened here is the fact that Alabama A&M has figured out a way to deal with that big in size and physicalness of Jackson State. Now Jackson State, with 10 minutes to go, you've got to get a nice drive to go to get your team to lead again so you can try and wear them out again. But the problem is Alabama A&M has made some good adjustments, and they're actually daring. They are daring Jackson State to throw the football, having everybody close to the line of scrimmage, saying, we're not going to let you just run the football.
From the shotgun, Oliver fakes to Hall, keeps it himself, gets down to the 50-yard line right at midfield, where he is brought down, still about 3 yards shy of a first down. It'll bring up 3rd down.
He fumbled that ball. They jumped in there like he fumbled. It's just a matter of, did he recover?
Well, let me see. I see official. I haven't seen an official point.
Now, I did not see the officials throw the bag down, which is wrong. But that ball came out. He took a hard lick, and I was looking for some bags to be displayed, and they didn't display them.
Well, you see the ball right there in the hands of Chris Traylor, and Anthony Jones was looking for the ball to go the other way, but nothing from the official.
He gets hit. See that ball? He doesn't have that ball. It was out. I mean, that angle there doesn't see it. And you see everybody jump down to get it. Number 58 actually came away with the ball. He saw it, so that ball came loose. It's just a matter of the officials, and I was wondering why they didn't throw a beanbag down there. I guess they didn't see it. You can't call what you don't see, right, Charlie?
No question. At the 49, plus there's no replay here in the championship subdivision, except in the championship games. And whistle stops play.
77 on the white offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
That's Michael Smith, the junior out of Winona, Mississippi. There he is, number 77.
Now,
all tied at 30 apiece, 8:53 to go. And there has not been, just want to preface this, an overtime game played in the SWAC all season long this year.
Wow, that's something. It sounds like you're wishing overtime on us.
No, I'm just telling you it hasn't happened.
I don't mind, because these teams right now are competing at the highest level, and that's what you want. You know, this has been a boxing match. You know, A&M had the first round knockout. They couldn't put them away. Jackson State took a stand in 8 count, and now they've weathered the storm, and they came back, delivered the blows. And
this is the game we thought it would be.
Yes, it is, and it's the way it should be when you got a trip to the championship game on the line for all intents and purposes. And what a key first down conversion by the Tigers.
And they get it on the completion to Simpson. Carlos Simpson, the junior out of Detroit, Michigan, who transferred out of Cincinnati, coming across the middle. And he comes up with the reception.
Yeah, and Alabama A&M allowed the wide receiver Simpson to run all the way across the zone. So he went through 3 zones across the field and got to that 4th outside divider and took advantage of and picked up the first down.
Five different receivers have caught passes today from Jimmy Oliver, led by Jones with 6, Johnson with 5. Simpson, who just had that last reception, has 4 receptions so far today. 1st and 10 now at the 45 of Alabama A&M. Here's Eric Hall for maybe a yard. Eric Hall down there on the carry.
And that's it. And I'm still waiting for Jackson State to get them, because every time they line up in an I formation, Alabama A&M brings an extra defender close to the line of scrimmage, and they're just setting them up. If they just ever call a play action pass, you can go for the home run ball and hit it and basically just give yourself a tremendous advantage.
You ever think about coaching?
Never. I'm undefeated up here, Charlie. I've never lost. You ever lost a game?
No.
Oh, okay. I know you're trying to get rid of me, but I kind of like hanging with you.
All right. Here's a quarterback keeper. Oliver down inside the 40 to about the 39-yard line.
And that's been the good adjustment that they've made. Realize it's going to be tough for Hall and Giles to get their carries and get the yards that they need. And Jimmy Oliver's taken the running game upon himself and had success doing it. So when they do spread you out, now what Jackson State does is they spread you out in order to run the football, and they're having some success.
This is a 3rd and 4 facing Jackson State. Pass out in the flat, 1st down on the far sideline. Jamar Johnson down the sideline and finally out of bounds at about the 19-yard line goes Jamar Johnson.
You know, when you talk about coaching, you need to show Jimmy Oliver this on the coaching film. If you get rid of a football in rhythm, look what can happen. 1, 2, 3, throw the strike, allow Johnson to catch the ball on the outside, cut upfield, and get more positive yardage. Good things happen when quarterbacks throw the ball in timing and in rhythm, and you see Jamar Johnson, the recipient of the timing throw by Jimmy Oliver.
1st down and 10 now. Cody Hull is in the backfield with the quarterback Oliver right now. Simpson to the right in a slot. Chris Johnson's over there. He gives off to Cody Hull, and Hull struggles down for a couple.
And one of the things about these defenses, I mean, coming in, these were 2 of the top defenses in the conference. You know, when you talk about the fact that Alabama A&M had only given up 19 points per game, and Jackson State found a way to put 30 on them. And then we talk about a Jackson State defense that was #1 total in defense, and they allowed Alabama A&M to put 30 on them as well. So 2 teams came in here ready to play, well coached, and it's been a knockdown drag out.
This is the 11th play, make this the 9th play of this drive. Into the end zone, knocked away. Good defensive play down there. It was intended for Simpson, but the defender managed to just get a fingernail on it. There he is right there, Al Donaldson, the junior out of Crawfordsville, Florida.
Yeah, Donaldson allowed Simpson to get behind him, and this ball's up in the air, and he's got it.
No, actually, he didn't. It went right off his finger, didn't it?
Yeah, he was so focused on trying to push off on the defensive back. Oliver threw a perfect pass, and you know, I always go with Bill Parcells used to say, if you can get 1 hand on the ball, I'm pretty sure you can get 2 on the ball and make that layout effort. And Simpson didn't do it there, and
Donaldson had a big game against Alabama State last week, 2 interceptions. In fact, had a game-saving one with 1:41 left in the contest that allowed this Alabama A&M team to walk away with a 13-9 victory in the Magic City Classic. And it's 3rd down now and 8 yards to go for Jackson State.
They've been flirting with that penalty all game. I mean, they've been snapping the ball and the tackles jumping.
Practice snap. 76 for the offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Most penalized team in the SWAC. That is Jackson State, and that is their 12th penalty of this ball game. 84 yards in penalties so far today.
I mean, that big right tackle has been timing the count either perfectly or he's been moving soon, and they've gotten away with it up till this point in the game. But when it gets that time, he was at least half a second early, and that was easy to call.
3rd down now. 3rd and 13. Oliver under a little pressure.
So you can't
Going
get
the
sacked.
wrong
You gotta
way.
get rid of it.
Oh, fumbles the ball. And a
Look
fumble.
at this.
Not only does he get sacked, he fumbles, and this is going to be a touchdown for Alabama A&M. Running it in all the way, Byron Wilson, and he takes it 40 yards, and Alabama A&M regains the lead.
You talk about a game-changing moment. You start running backwards as a quarterback when you got the ball going into your opponent's end zone. Nothing good can happen. You put the ball on the ground. Instead of you going and settling for a 3-point lead with the field goal, now all of a sudden you're down by 7 just because he was careless with the football. Wow.
With 5:35 to go, there's Byron Wilson, the biggest play for him out of Warren, Ohio, from Harding High. Doesn't see a lot of playing time, but was there. And I'll tell you, he probably needs some oxygen running all that distance. He had to go in, chase the quarterback, pick up the fumble, and actually only gets credit for 40 yards. He probably ran about 70. Here's the point after, Lycia, and it is good. And it's a 37-30 ball game. Alabama A&M regains the lead. But like you said, Jimmy Oliver, that's a mental mistake. You just do not give away grounds. As you see, Byron Wilson, number 97, finally picking the ball up, and he'll take it all away. And his team leads it by 7 here in Huntsville.
Jack Link's Beef Jerky presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Hey, buddy. Hey, shake.
Jack Link's Jerky. Feed your wild side.
ESPNU Coaches Spotlight gets you the inside scoop on the top college football programs. Find out the campus lowdown live from the ESPNU panel of experts.
The bottom line is you got to face the music, Charlie. Alabama. Nick Saban is earning his paycheck.
And get details on all the key matchups. Only Coaches Spotlight takes you out to the press conferences.
You have to play with an intensity. I was disappointed. There's going to be tough times. There's going to be adverse times.
And breaks down the upcoming schedule. ESPNU Coaches Spotlight presented by Liberty Mutual. Tuesdays at 1 on ESPNU.
The Range Rover Sport. With complimentary scheduled maintenance, visit your local Land Rover Center.
Starting Tuesday, Nat Geo strips down the world of science and challenges what we think we know. It's a lot to do in 3 nights. Seeing how the universe could have fit inside the palm of your hand, or how the very first Americans may have traveled here on a seaweed highway, and what New York City could look like after the glaciers melt. 3 nights of naked science starts Tuesday at 8 on Nat Geo, channel 276.
There he is, Byron Wilson, with the touchdown return after the fumbled punt, or fumbled sack, I should say, takes it all the way back. ESPNU college basketball begins Monday night. The Skyhawks of Tennessee Martin against the Tigers of Memphis. Memphis ranked 3rd in the preseason basketball polls. It's the 2K Sports College Hoops Classic. It benefits Coaches versus Cancer, and it comes your way right here on ESPNU Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you tune in. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. With 5:35 to go, along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal, and there you see Coach Rick Comegys can't be a happy camper right now. You know, we may see a change in quarterback.
Something like that happens, you got to wonder, but I like to give him credit. I mean, he's the same horse that put 30 points on the board. He got you here, so you got to tough it out with him. And one of the things you have to do if you're Jimmy Oliver right now is, although you're thinking about it, it's in the back of your mind, that's over with. You can't change what already happened. So now when you come out in this series, you can't make it all up in one play. You got to just play your game, stick with the game plan, and don't try and do too much. So often, a young quarterback will just keep harping on what he did that previous series. Nothing good's going to come by doing that. Forget about it. It's over. Play your game. Don't force it down. Play your game and try and get those points back the right way by working hard.
But, Jay, you play quarterback. There's some things that are automatic. As a quarterback, there are things you don't do. I don't care what the situation is, and what he did on that last play is in the quarterback's book and library of what you don't do.
Exactly right.
And that section of the library is, this is what you don't do. I don't care what else happens. You get rid of the ball, throw it away, throw it up into the cheap seats, throw it up into the stands, throw it out on the interstate, but you don't get sacked and you don't get a chance, take a chance of losing.
And you learn from, you don't make the same mistake. I mean, with an interception, we've all thrown in a double, sometimes triple coverage. But right now, that's not going to help you. Your team is down by 7 right now. Doesn't matter how you got to be down by 7. Right now, the key is keep your head within the game and get your team back in this contest.
Yeah, let's see what happens now. He has a man up open, but he just threw behind him, wide open over there on the far side.
See, he's harping. He's harping on the stuff right now. His mind's not clear. He's still thinking about that. He's got a wide open guy there, and he tries to overthrow it because he's so excited because he read it, and he's looking deep. But you got to think now it's 3rd and 7. It's 2 down territory, so 3rd and 8. So even if you can't get all of it right now, get 5 or 6 yards where your coach is going to go for it on 4th down.
It is 3rd down now and 7. He tried to hit Rodney Gray on that last play. Overthrew him. Standing in there. Throws, has it complete. Now the receiver has to turn upfield, and he has the 1st down. And that is complete to Chris Johnson. Christopher Johnson gives him the 1st down out of Jackson, Mississippi. Went to Murrah High. And let's look at Chris Johnson coming back to this ball.
Yeah, you see Oliver there just sitting in the pocket. I like the play calling. You know, gets a good arm release, stays comfortable. And I really like the play calling because when you got a quarterback that's struggling, don't give him one of those throws where he has to be so accurate. Call some curl routes which he can hit with a wide receiver's coming back to him, and it's an easier pass to complete than, say, a deep ball or a fade or a post or a crossing route.
Eric Hall, the lone back in the backfield. Out of the shotgun, he's working again, and he gives off to Hall in the delayed draw, and Hall is at midfield. A gain of about 8 yards for Eric Hall this time. So Eric Hall picking up some rushing yards as the clock continues to run down to 4:13, and a 37-30 ball game here in Huntsville.
And this is a good team effort. I mean, you can't rely just solely on Jimmy Oliver. Obviously, he had a couple bad plays, and the running game picking it up, and the offensive line is picking it up because they're really protected now. Bear down, championship series time.
Cannot panic at this juncture. Still plenty of time to go in this contest. Plenty of time for Oliver. Throws, has it complete to Simpson, and it's incomplete. In and out of his hands as he was hit by Carlton Rice. He let it go.
Yeah, real close throw there, and great job of playing defense. Man-to-man coverage there by Rice. When you got a tight end trying to run a curl route, you got to body him up, and Carlton Rice is going to body him up on the left side of your screen as Oliver tries to come back to him. Takes a great angle, right hand ready to make the tackle, left hand on the ball. You don't play defense any better than that.
Hall again behind the right tackle in the backfield with the quarterback. Jimmy Oliver on 3rd down and short, and they give it to Hall. He gets the 1st down and plenty to spare. Bounces outside and inside the 45 to the 44-yard line for Eric Hall.
Great job of running to the weakness of the defensive alignment of Alabama A&M. They had 3 wide receivers out there, nobody to cover the outside. You'll see Hall just find that crease on the inside and still stick to the running lane. Look at him pushing his big center, Lorenzo Breland, that was pulling there. Get out the way, you're in my way. Move that 312 pound so I can get upfield.
Lorenzo Breland, a Dean's List student at Jackson State, social science education major, the center for the Tigers. First down and 10. Oliver now throwing a little swing pass out to Hall. Hall cuts it back into the middle and picks up maybe 2 yards down to the 41-yard line. Actually, he's only going to gain about a yard after all of that. We have a player shaking up for Alabama A&M. A little slow getting up is Avery Molen, number 55, the middle linebacker, who was a backup to Johnny Baldwin for many years.
Let's finish up when we talk about our ball talk, Charlie. Number 1 story around the SWAC, we talk about ball talk. With the end of the season coming, rivalry week is coming up, and you got the battle of the gumbo versus the crawfish, and you talk about the Bayou Classic and Grambling and Southern.
I mean, you have the Capital City Classic with Alcorn and Jackson State.
You know, just had a big one here in Alabama last weekend.
Magic City Classic.
Which was State and Alabama A&M, and State's got another one coming up.
Yes.
They got that Turkey Day. It's not a SWAC contest,
Yes,
but it's
Tuskegee.
Alabama State and Tuskegee. You know, love lost there between those 2 schools there. So,
well, you know, we talked about the fact that, you know, even the winner of this game is not automatically in the SWAC championship. They still have to win 1 more game after this week to get in one of the 2 remaining games. So here it is, Alabama A&M and Jackson State. Alabama A&M has to play Alcorn next week. They close out the season against Prairie View. Jackson State consequently does just the opposite. They play Prairie View next week, close out the season against Alcorn. So Alcorn and Prairie View can play spoilers for both of these teams, even if Jackson State does not win today. If Alabama A&M doesn't win the remaining 2 games, then Jackson State goes in. So it's not automatic.
You know, and I think the road's a little bit tough for Jackson State. Take a look at the Western side. Grambling comfortable with that 2-game lead.
Comfortable, but don't.
Today, and they won.
But Southern, they won today, yeah.
But Southern's probably realistically not going to catch them. You know, if you're Southern, though, you know, you just
might
beat Grambling.
They might beat the Bayou, win the Bayou Classic.
The season's come down to that for Southern, win the Bayou. But one thing about it, why I think Jackson's road's a little bit tougher is, one, the fact that when they play Alcorn, they played Alcorn last game of the year, and you talk about Alcorn team led by Dr. Thomas. It's been very disappointing. He's on the hot seat down there. Those boys don't want to lose to their in-state rival last week of the season. They want to have something. They're going to give 100% effort for coach down there. And when you talk about Prairie View, you know, tough defense. You know, they got to play them next week. Right away. Next week, you're going to play one of the best defenses in the conference after playing this game here, which you had to get so much, you know, the physicalness of this football game. And, you know, players are getting dinged up and they're hitting. Nobody's healthy after this game here.
No question.
And they got to go play Prairie View. That's a tough road trip with a great defense.
As you saw Avery Molen coming off, the redshirt senior from Tarrant High in Birmingham. Second down, 9 yards to go. Oliver with the empty backfield now. He's going to step up, and he's brought down this time. And coming up with the big stop defensively for Alabama A&M is Afu Okuson.
The inside linebacker in passing situation. You see him there just spying. He's not rushing. He's just looking. Where's he at? Oh, okay, you want to try and run? Hey, you think that's perfect spot. He just hit behind the line.
And that's a young freshman. I mean, he's been playing behind Avery Molen all year long out of College Park, Georgia. Went to Mundy's Mill High and came up with a big stop that time, bringing up a 3rd down and 10. Actually, they lost about a yard on that play. 11 of 21 3rd down conversions for Jackson State today. Here's the pass, and it's caught by Simpson. Simpson breaks a tackle, and he's still going to be short of a 1st down. But what an effort, as you said, Jay. 2nd and 3rd effort, but the clock is not a friend of Jackson State right now because it's continuing to run with 1:40 to go, and they're facing a 4th down and 1.
Look at him change the record. He just was not coming down. You see 3 A&M defenders get a hand on his jersey, but he just kept moving and to make it where it's an attainable 4th down opportunity. And this is just not going down.
This is the last play for Jackson State. If they don't convert this 1st down, this is a 4th down situation. 4th and about 2. Here's Oliver rolling to the right, runs back to the left side, takes off, throws, has it complete. Boy, I don't know who he was throwing it to. He got it through a whole bunch of people to Simpson, and he goes out of bounds. The clock stops, a minute 7 to go. Boy, that was a big play, because he could have taken off and ran.
He could have ran. He had a guy that came wide open 5 yards away from him. See, I'm saying right now, hit the guy on the left that was open right there. Yeah, and he threw the ball downfield. Hey, no guts, no glory, and he went for it all right there.
So you got to go for it, huh? Hey. There's no tomorrow, right?
No tomorrow, leading on the line, and he threw a strike, and that's the same pass thrown to the left that Kelsey Lucas struggled with today.
Under a minute to go. In this one, 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. So here we go again. Oliver letting it go.
Oh, no.
And it's intercepted.
No, they waved it off.
Almost intercepted there. By Donaldson. Donaldson had 2 interceptions against Alabama State last week. One with a minute 41 to go to preserve the win as Alabama State was driving down the field. And here's Donaldson almost being the hero once again for the 2nd straight week.
Yeah, I mean, Donaldson doesn't miss too many opportunities for an INT, and he was that close. Wow, that would have been his 6th interception on the season. And he was that close. And a good job by the official to get that call right, because it was such a bang-bang play. Wow.
Ironically enough, both teams have 2 timeouts left. Jackson State still has 2. 38 seconds to go, though, in the ball game. Here's a screen pass, and here's Eric Hall. Eric Hall is down inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line, still in bounds. And now the timeout taken by Jimmy Oliver, and you see the time remaining, 25 seconds. Is on the stadium clock. That's the time left.
And this play was just one defender away from breaking for a touchdown. They set him up perfectly, knowing that A&M was really going to put an emphasis on the pass rush. Jonathan McConaughey did a good job of tracking it down.
ESPNU College Football is presented by Citi. Let's get it done. And in part by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. In Huntsville, Alabama, Space Shuttle. NASA responsible for term planning and future development of NASA's follow-on heavy lift cargo. Of course, the Ares launch office is at Marshall, responsible for a number of things. Plus, they have the space camp here every year for kids for a couple weeks. That is real big here in Huntsville, Alabama.
And that's what surprises you. You know, you're always thinking NASA, and you think of Houston right away, but maybe they should say Huntsville.
Or they think of Cape Canaveral.
Cape Canaveral, where they take off from.
Right.
But it's Huntsville. You know, you always hear Houston. How about Huntsville?
Yeah, Huntsville. They don't talk to Huntsville. Huh? Huntsville is just responsible for getting it done.
Them up there and making sure they get home.
3rd down now. 2 backs in the backfield. Cody Hull on the right side of the quarterback. Oliver on the left side is Eric Hall. 1 remaining. Timeout. And here's the run by Cody Hull. And Hull is inside the 5, trying to get to the 1st down marker. I think that's more important, but the clock is still running. They're not doing a good job of time management here with 14 seconds to go.
Well, I mean, the key is once you get the 1st down in college football, the clock stops. So they can set the chain.
But you got to go down.
Trying to get the extra yardage, and, you know, they're home cooking, so the scorekeeper here is not going to help them out at all. But one thing about it, now what you hate is the fact that they got to use a timeout after this.
That's the last one.
See, that's the problem there, unless they're calling a play. But right now, they need to make up their mind whether they're going to call a timeout, they're going to run a play, and it looks like they're going to call a timeout, which you just hate that they do in this situation.
That's their last timeout.
Wow.
14 seconds is what's left on the game clock. And looking at Jackson State, we said next week they take on Prairie View. Their last 2 games are at home. They play Prairie View, and then they play Alcorn State. I thought they were both at home. They say that maybe they'll be at Prairie View.
They're going to Prairie View. Tough road trip, facing that tough defense.
Well, I do know that Alabama A&M is on the road at Alcorn next week, and then they close out the season at Prairie View. So it's very interesting chain of events.
Yeah, just a little flip around. And, you know, the key thing, the one common denominator they both have, both those teams go to Prairie View. You got to think that Frazier and the boys plan on knocking off one of them.
Well, it's coming down to 14 seconds. Whether Jackson State can tie it now.
Wow, I can't believe they would actually attempt to run the football now. And look at this.
Now they look like they took a player off. They had too many people in there.
Play action pass, gotta be.
They got an I formation. There's no more timeouts left. Oliver throws wide open.
Oh,
he dropped it.
The ball.
Wide open. It beat him to death. A good receiver out there, and that's Cedric Dixon, the freshman out of Atlanta's Lithonia High. 4 games this year. He's got a touchdown, only 5 catches, and he just too wide open. He didn't know what to do with it.
I mean, wow. Ball hit him. Ball hung a little bit, but wow, hit him right in the face mask. Oh, wow. Got to come down with that one. You're just a freshman, but growing pains.
8 seconds remaining. More importantly, it doesn't matter how many downs you have and how many yards you have to go. It's 2nd and goal. But the fact is, you cannot get sacked.
They can take 2 shots at the end zone.
Touchdown. And they got it. Touchdown this time. And on the receiving end was Gray, his 2nd touchdown reception of the afternoon. Now, can Eric Perry, who's been pretty good at PATs, he's only missed 1 all season long. I don't go for the 2-point conversion. You go for.
You scared to go for the win? You're on the road. You got to go for the win when you get a chance.
They're not.
Hey, when you're on the road, and you got a chance to say, you know what, we are 3 yards away from helping us get to the SWAC championship. I wouldn't fault them if they went for it, but they're choosing to go for the extra point.
Oliver with his 4th touchdown pass of the day. This comes with 3 seconds to go, and here's to tie it. It is up. It is good. No flags, and we're all tied at 37 with 3 seconds left in the ball game.
You jinxed this earlier, Charlie.
First possible, not game isn't over. Still 3 seconds. Time for somebody to run it back.
Especially after that highlight that was Trinity down in Texas. Everything is possible. But I don't think you'll see that type of lateral movement here, because if you turn that ball over and the other team runs it in. But wow.
That was a 15-play. 69-yard drive, and they used up 5 minutes and 22 seconds off the clock. They were almost 3 seconds too short of getting in overtime.
And give credit to Jimmy Oliver after the costly fumble that he had. I mean, he rebounded like a champion. I mean, he stood poised in there, made the throws he had to make, ran when he had to. His decision-making was flawless during that last drive. Take a look at the coaching staff there, and James Woody there in Comegys. They're telling special teams, hey, let's make sure we do the right thing here. Good job. You know, one of the things about Coach Comegys, the job he's done there, is the fact that Jackson State, I mean, he took over that program. That's one of the most scrutinized coaching positions in all of black college football.
That Southern University, probably in Hampton.
Yeah. And in Hampton, not necessarily by the alums.
Right. The president.
The president, he puts a lot in your program, and he expects a lot.
Well, we know what we can expect as far as a kick is concerned. We're not going to kick it deep. We're not going to allow them to bring it all the way back, but you also have to keep people back to make sure that if it comes to one of these up people, they don't slip through the crease and go all the way down the field. 3 seconds to go. We may be going in overtime here. And the SWAC has not had an overtime game this season. But this game has been everything we expected it to be. They're going to kick it to Ulysses Banks. He's going to field it at about the 8-yard line. Has a little room to the outside, and they bring him down at about the 28-yard line. That's going to be it. We're going to get ready for overtime here in Huntsville, Alabama. This is a battle for supremacy in the Eastern Division of the SWAC. It's all boiled down to a 37-37 tie. Back with overtime in a moment.
She used to make lunch for us every day. And she put these little notes in the lunch bag. You take out your sandwich and it'd be this little piece of paper in there with it. With some little poem or saying, wishing to have a good day. I kept one.
When you've got someone looking out for you, you can breathe a little easier. Visit us online or call your local State Farm agent.
See your local State Farm agent for all your insurance and financial services needs.
Maybe your car is trying to tell you something. Maybe it's asking for the hard-working gasoline at Phillips 66. Gas specially formulated to help clean fuel injectors in 5 tanks, which helps you maximize mileage and reduce emissions. Give your car what it's asking for. Give it Phillips 66. Hard-working gas.
The extreme power of Energizer Lithium, the world's longest-lasting AA battery and high-tech devices. Energizer, keep going.
Like any good parent, I want the best for my baby. That's why, to help prepare for his future, I turned to Gerber. With the Gerber Life Grow Up Plan, you can give your baby a $10,000 whole life insurance plan for just pennies a day. And when your child turns 21, that coverage will automatically double to $20,000, and the cost stays the same. By age 28, your child will have the right to purchase up to $100,000 worth of insurance.
Call 1-800-914-6100 today.
We're ready for overtime here in Huntsville. We said this would be maybe the game of the year in the SWAC. This is a prelude to the championship. Of course, if you just joined us here, 13-0, Jackson State was trailing in the ball game, and they were trailing 19-8 at halftime. As we have the coin toss to decide, it looks like Jackson State won the toss to start the second half. A lot of teams, when we go into overtime, Jay, they would prefer the other team get the ball, because once they get it, they know what they have to do.
Exactly, and I was a fan of that as well. You know, give your defense a chance to go out there first and win the game for you if they can. And then secondly, you know, the offense knows what they have to do, what their responsibility is. It doesn't become just controlling the ball to make sure we have a good field goal attempt, or do we need to get the ball in the end zone and take that extra down that you need on 4th down?
I think Jackson State, they won the toss. Well, wait a minute, the official's on the wrong side. Okay, now they got to turn it around. That's what it is. They're going to play down at this on the right side. Jackson State decides they're going to go on defense first. So Alabama A&M will get the ball started. They're going to play. Alabama A&M had a choice of what end of the field to go down, and they chose the right side. Now let's check out the rules for overtime in college football. Unlike the NFL, the coin toss for choice of offense, defense, or end of the field. Each team gets a possession from the opponent's 25-yard line per overtime until the winner decided. No game clock, play clock only. Teams must go for a 2-point conversion starting with the 3rd overtime once a touchdown is scored.
It's all interesting. One thing I know Jackson State's got to be dreading right now is the fact that one thing's missing from Jackson State this year. In overtime, I really do believe bands make a difference. And they don't have the sonic boom of the South here. They did not make the trip from Jackson. So you see when Alabama gets a chance, A&M, they say, well, we want to go with our band, towards our band side, so they can control the noise in the crowd. In terms of Jackson State, they don't have that luxury when they travel without their band.
Kelsey Luke from the 25, and this one is knocked down by one of the big upmen, number 97, Corey Clark, who's just played one whale of a ball game.
Yeah, he's active, and that's what you want. The defensive coordinators love big guys with motors that like to have fun playing football, and Clark, the 6'3", 320-pound senior, has had a whale of a ball game here, and he's done his job. Stuffed the run and sniffed out screens like on that last pass.
And here we go down to the 25-yard line.
And one thing that Jackson State's done is you don't see Alabama A&M running any straight offensive plays. Everything's gone to just trickery, disruption, misdirection here. Yeah, Alabama A&M rollout pass, misdirection. They rarely drop back because they get pressure like right now.
Here's Kelsey Luke under pressure. This is thrown, and it is complete, but not for much to McWhorter coming out of the backfield. The freshman out of Walker High in Jasper, Alabama, made the reception, and that's only his 5th reception of the season.
You know, part of the reason they don't do drop back passes because every time Kelsey drops back, they're caving in his pocket, and he's having to move outside of the pocket. So give credit to the offensive coordinators at Alabama A&M for realizing what they're up against, and also give credit to the defense at Jackson State for just dominating this Alabama A&M line of scrimmage.
Not the only ones in overtime. Maybe Notre Dame are playing in overtime.
Is that right?
35-35. You're 37-37 here. It is 3rd down. Here's Luke in trouble. He is sacked from behind. And coming up with it, number 2 is Daniel Brooks, the transfer out of Tennessee, preseason second team all SWAC selection. Let's look at the top of the screen and watch number 2 come to work.
Well, you can't try and block Daniel Brooks with a running back. That's just a matchup problem that's waiting to happen. And good coaching. They lined up Brooks, who likes to play defensive end, but they put him in a 3-point stance to force the weak side protection to block him with the running back, and he'll win that matchup every time.
Lycia with a 41-yard field goal attempt. He's hit 3 today. 36, 41, and 37 yards out. He did have an extra point block, but he's done pretty good in kicking this one. This has got the distance, and this one is good. So Jeremy Lycia in the overtime gives Alabama A&M the 40-37 lead. Let's watch Jeremy Lycia once again. Here's his sophomore out of Ventura, California. I'm happy.
Good stroke. I mean, that was calm, cool, and collected. You know, we talked about earlier in this game that both teams have great kickers. They both do. So, you know, it's going to become a matter of who's going to get the touchdown, because I think they can both sit here and make field goals from the 25-yard line all game long.
I know, we said that earlier. We said if it came down to the kicking game, both teams, yeah, it's a draw, you know. And now let's see if Jimmy Oliver can get his team into the end zone. All they have to do is score a touchdown and the game is over.
Yeah, but the first thing he's got to be thinking of is protect the football.
Right. Don't get sacked.
Don't get sacked, and no costly turnovers.
No interceptions. Here's wide open. It may be. They're going to mark it at the 1-yard line, not into the end zone. They did not call it a touchdown, but it was a wide open catch by Simpson, and I thought he was in.
I mean, you know.
Very close. He tried to stretch that ball inside the pylon. The official marks it out right at about the half-yard mark.
Now, in Jackson, Mississippi, game's over. In Huntsville, Alabama, you got to get the super ref to get the ball on the 1-inch line. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Good call.
That's a good call.
Good call. Good call. Oliver thought it was
well,
in.
He was celebrating already. He had the helmet off. He'd have got a penalty in other places.
Yeah, I mean, the whole team. I mean, everybody coming off the sideline like that, you could have penalized everybody. So you got to learn how to deal with success.
Boy, what a play. And wide open was Mr. Carlos Simpson. He's been doing it all afternoon. That is his 7th catch of the day. 83 yards. One of 6 receivers on the receiving end of Jimmy Oliver's passes today. Oliver, 26 of 43, 393 yards, 4 touchdowns. That would have been number 5.
And that's how you respond. And that's the game that he needed to have for this team to have some success. And it looks like they're inches away from getting the victory here in Huntsville, which is not an easy place to come and get a road victory. What a great job. And, you know, they called that play as almost as if they knew cover 2 was coming. You know,
Anthony Jones has an issue with something. He's all the way out on the field at midfield talking to the officials. I don't know what it's all about, but our referee is trying to sort it out. Keith Moore. The ball is marked out at the 1-yard line or a half-yard line. Lucky he didn't have a touchdown.
So, wow, I mean, you come out and strike, and that's...
Now, they've struggled trying to get the ball in the end zone by way of the running game today. That is Jackson State. Let's see. Eric Hall is the second back in the eye. Will they give it to him? He struggled earlier trying to get in there. No, they give it to the big fullback who's in for the touchdown, Edward Lee. And the game is over. Jackson State wins it. 43-40.
They did it. I mean, you talk about a team that showed some fight and some character. The boys from the Magnolia State came in here, got down by 13, played themselves right back into the contest, and what a tremendous victory for this Jackson State program. After the years of heartache, to come back, rebound, and Jackson State now controls their own destiny with a trip to the SWAC championship down the road.
With Prairie View and Alcorn remaining on the schedule, Rick Comegye's record goes to 12-8 as a Jackson State coach. The team increases its record to 6-3 overall, 6-1 in the Eastern Division of the SWAC. Final score 43-40 in overtime here in Huntsville. For more information, Log on to your home for the finest in college sports. That's ESPNU.com. The proceeding has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. On behalf of Jay Walker and our entire ESPNU crew, Charlie Neal saying so long from Huntsville, Alabama. Once again, the final score in overtime. Jackson State beats Alabama A&M 43-40. Good night.
This is Sports Center U.
Lowell Galindo and Craig Cobbert with you. We start with FSU BC. Did the rain get to Matt Ryan in this one, Craig?
I think it was more the speed of the Florida State defense than the rain.
The rain, a little bit of a factor. It was coming down, and here, Matt Ryan picked off by Patrick Robinson. Second quarter, Florida State. And the offense is coming alive. Drew Weatherford finding time and finding Preston Parker 23 yards at 7-0 Noles. Third quarter, Matt Ryan recovering in a huge way. This is a good Robinson connection because it's Brandon Robinson. BC down by 3. FSU coming back in the fourth. Drew Weatherford, Dakota Fack doing the work here.
Yeah, every time BC answered, Florida State would come back, get momentum back on their side. Nice job by Weatherford finding the guy and making a play.
10-point game. It was a 3-point game in the fourth. Matt Ryan, though, picked off by Geno Hayes. Seal the victory, ladies and gentlemen, because Hayes goes to the end zone for 6 points, and Florida State gets the win 27-17. Now, there were 5 undefeated teams coming into this Saturday of college football action. Whoop, there goes BC. We are down to 4 undefeateds because Florida State getting the victory. Here's Lisa Salters with the game-winning quarterback, Drew Weatherford.
Guys up in the booth, we're talking about your poise and your good decision-making tonight. What was your confidence level like out there tonight?
I felt really good, but it's the guys around me who really did it for me. We got great pass protection. We were able to run the ball very effectively, and that makes my job a lot easier.
And again, I asked you, it seemed like every time you guys scored, they answered. What were you thinking when they just kept knocking at the door?
It's kind of what we expected. They're a very good football team, and we knew it was going to be a fight to the end, and I tip my hats to them. They played a great game, and fortunately, we came out on top.
All right, thank you very much, Drew. Congratulations.
Welcome to Sports Center U. I'm Lowell Galindo here with Craig Cobbert from Scout Sync. Last week, Boston College narrowly avoided becoming the 4th straight team ranked number 2 in the nation to go down. Instead, they delay that pain, and now they're the 4th number 2 team to lose in 5 weeks. What happened to BC on Saturday?
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt Ryan with the mistakes, those turnovers are so costly. You saw one there on the highlights down by the end zone, then Geno Hayes closing excellently on that ball to seal the victory. What I thought would doom Florida State in this game was Drew Weatherford making mistakes at an offensive line, not playing very well. That's where they came in and did well. The offensive line protected Weatherford, and he didn't make any errors, and he managed that game perfectly, and that's why they came out on top.
So the ACC